Okay.
It's yeah. I don't know what the heck is going on with Twitch lately. All right, we're live on Twitch.
We're live.
And we're live on YouTube.
I'm going to do some push-ups.
Oh, good. It's PAX all over again.
Yeah.
We haven't even started drinking yet. Ugh. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys.
Talking Heads, episode 49. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Ooh, it's going to be a good one.
It'll be an interesting one.
It'll be an interesting one. It'll be
It's going to be a
very interesting one.
There's a lot of interesting things on today's episode.
Yeah. Not all of them have to do with this, but that is certainly going to be interesting. All right. So, on the schedule for today, AMD launches some new 2000 series CPUs. We've got leaked i7-9700k benchmarks. Apple was in the news today, obviously, with their announcements. New Apple Watch, new iPhones that are horrendously overpriced.
We'll get to the press later.
We'll get into that. Microsoft is testing a new warning.
I even thought of something about this, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So stupid.
And Intel is supposedly opening a new graphics card facility. So, yeah, lot to get to today. I'm excited. It should be a lot of fun.
Should be fun to talk.
Boy, how the weather changed in a week here, eh?
Today really was my first official day of like, this feels like fall in Oregon. It's the weather, the humidity, the rain.
It kind of started Monday. We had little hints of it.
This was the first official, like, this whole day feels like fall.
Right.
You know, without the foliage, everything else felt like fall.
Yeah, even when the sun came out, it was like mid-50s and whatnot.
And I walked out like, wow, my grass is wet.
Yeah.
What's with this?
Yeah. So Monday morning, I walked out to my car, and there's a little bit of water on the road. And it was the first time we had seen rain in probably close to 4 months.
Yeah.
Oregon, everyone else calls it drought. We call it summer. It literally doesn't rain in the state for 3 months. But the first couple of days it rains, all the oils and the greases and whatnot come out of the road, and the roads get just slicker than snow.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always terrible.
And you see so many accidents.
So many accidents. And so I walked out to my car, and I drive a 350Z as a daily driver. And I walked out there, and I saw a bunch of water on the road, and I went, you know what? The crazies are going to be out today. I'm going to take my truck. and so I got into my Nissan Frontier, and I'm driving to work, and I'm less than 10 minutes away from my house. And some Honda Civic who's texting while he's driving didn't realize that the light in front of us had turned red.
You just hit the brake.
And hit the brakes. I jumped into the other lane, and he landed where my truck was sitting.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. It's like, I drove the truck because it's like, man, if someone rear ends me in the Z car, I'm going to have to total that car. There's nothing I can do to save it. If they rear end me in the Frontier, they're going to bounce off the bumper. Yeah. So, yeah.
Especially if it's a little car like a Honda Civic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like...
Oh yeah, no, I think on my way to Portland to work, 3 accidents. Yeah, I think Monday or Tuesday. No, I had Monday at Tuesday. Yeah, and it's just like ridiculous. Just side of the road stuff. And so many people were. What I even hate worse than seeing accidents is people overcautious.
Yes,
and so they'll go 10 to 15 miles below the speed limit.
Yeah, had a couple of those today.
So you have this traffic for no reason other than, if you're just smart, and we live in Oregon, 10 or say 9 months out of the year, it's raining or it's wet, so you know how to do this.
Yep.
Apparently 3 to 4 months, you forget.
Yep. All right. Well...
So
I've delayed it as long as I can.
Yeah, I went to the coast with my brother Steve, and we were walking back from a brewery, of course, and we said, "Hey,"
as one does at the coast.
As one does at the coast. Why else would you go to the coast? Screw the ocean. Hey, a bar.
That's right.
Brewery. We were going back to our resort, and they were like, "Hey, liquor store, let's go in." Why not? And they had somewhat of a selection, but then I saw this. And it was Jim Beam pre-made whiskey and Coke cocktail, basically. And I was like...
Canned cocktail.
Like, I gotta get me one
from
of
the
these.
World's #1 bourbon.
Yes. It makes that statement.
Yep.
The other thing I love about this can, it says ABV, or alcohol 5%, but it also gives you the proof.
10 proof.
10 proof.
10 proof. just in case you were curious.
Yes.
This is 10 proof whiskey.
Yeah.
So we have a plan today. We're going to do a pre-canned whiskey and cola. Then I'm going to show you how to make a whiskey and cola.
Yep.
So without further ado.
This is craft computing and all, so
that's right.
We need something good.
You know what, John, just for you, I have a Jack Daniel's 'Tis the Season glass.
Oh, yes. Wait, is this for my good drink or the canned drink?
This is for the canned drink.
Oh. This will be fun.
I think I'm going to go fancy with mine as well. I got my Gentleman Jack martini glass.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. All right, I will let you pour because you always over pour yourself. So I'm fine with you pouring this time.
Oh, now it comes back.
Now it's fine.
Now it comes back.
Look at that. It pours smooth and flat.
Wow. That's a flat pour.
I did notice that this went super flat really quick.
There you go, Joe.
Ah, dang. That's pretty even pour.
Oh, wow, I can smell it.
Just smell the depression.
It smells like...
Oh, that does not smell good.
Oh. It smells like sour Jim Beam. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. But I
bet it's the green label.
It smells like more like a mash than it does whiskey. Oh. Yeah, this smells like college.
This smells like I'm not even in college yet, and I'm still a teenager. Oh! You ever have, like, Walmart Coke?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's the Sam Choice?
It's, like, super syrupy.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's, like, corn sugar or cane sugar.
Yeah.
This is, like...
No, this is definitely fructose corn syrup.
You know, I will say that for cocktails, I do taste the bourbon. You know, actually, no, I take that back. I don't taste bourbon. I smell bourbon.
I smell bourbon. I don't taste any bourbon. I taste vodka. I taste just a boozy... I can smell some oak.
There is some form of alcohol in this, but whether it's Jim Beam Kentucky straight bourbon...
Or whether it's the frat boy mixing some Hawaiian punch for the sorority.
It's probably the swill at the bottom of bars that they drain out the rag.
Yeah.
That's what this smells like. Is like someone mopped up a whiskey and Coke and then strained it into a glass.
Someone said, this is as bad as Old Number 8. My benchmark whiskey.
You know, I bet we could make a better Coke with just that one.
I bet I could.
But we're not going to today.
But you know what? I bought something special.
Okay. Ooh, did you?
Well, not super special, but it's my go-to Kentucky straight.
Okay.
So...
Now, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Now, did you want to finish these?
Ooh. We can choke it down while we're going through the first beer story.
There we go. Hey, college doesn't... donation.
No, college doesn't smell like that. College smells like ass.
This smells like ass.
It smells like ass. This tastes like ass, too. It's not a good taste. It's not a good smell. It's well whiskey and Coke strained through a dirt dish rag.
Well said, Steve.
Well said, Steve. That is right on the money. Jeff and John, give me a birthday shout out. I'm 22 tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Go have some fun and forget tonight.
That's right.
Or forget that night. Party enough to where you think the next day's your birthday.
That's right.
And you forgot about that whole entire night.
It's my birthday. Dude, your birthday was 3 days ago.
What?
Let's get to the first beer story.
All right.
Speaking of electrolytes.
Right? So actually...
You're welcome for that transition.
Yes, it's like so awkward. Like, okay. I don't know how many of you guys like work out or do sports. I try to do a little bit of, cardio in the morning. I used to do a lot more. But one thing I have started noticing was a big trend of beer, of a study saying that beer is great for after workout. As a post-workout beverage because of all of the vitamins and the grains and everything like that. And they do say to do a very light beer, not a big double IPA after an hour of working out.
Right.
So there has been a couple of companies that have done this, so it's gotten pretty famous, of purposely putting extra electrolytes into beers.
Yep.
And there was basically a couple of companies, but there was this one called Zulus.
Zulius.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Zulius, right here.
Zulius, that's right.
Yeah. Zulius Beer Company. So they have purposely been trying to put a whole brand of electrolyte beers. Mm-hmm. They've even been doing some New England style IPAs. What they're stating is they're putting a lot of salts and minerals into their beers and using the electrolytes in that. And they don't necessarily, at the bottom of this article, they say that there's no proven science behind this.
Right.
But he himself, the head brewer, feels better.
I'll say alcohol is a diuretic. It is something that does sap the water out of your body.
Yeah, it does make you dehydrate.
Right, and one of the things that can get that back is actually giving yourself a little bit of salt and getting those electrolytes back into you.
Yes, and that's why they're stating that, or like you said, with the salts and everything.
Right. $5 donation. This evening I'm enjoying a Kokomo Margarita alcoholic freeze pop. That sounds delicious.
Alcoholic free? I thought you said free.
Freeze pop.
Freeze pop.
Popsicle. Otter pop.
Oh, okay.
But with booze.
Ooh.
Yep.
Man, if this was last week.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Last Tuesday it was 90 degrees. Today we had a high of 58 and raining.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Like I said, fall.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt for God's sakes.
So, I don't know. I've never tried having a beer after working out.
Not after working out.
Not directly, like hour or two.
Yeah.
I've had a beer, but not directly. And they're stating a lot of these people are actually doing marathons, and they're handing out beer at the very end for people to drink.
Yeah.
Is what this article even talked about. And other articles I've read, they were even talking that Goose Island experimented with a couple of things like that. These are also gluten-free beers, by the way. So,
nice.
They're trying to take as much grain and calories out of these beers as possible. And they're all around the 4%, 4.5%.
That's not terrible.
No, they're trying to keep it all sessionable.
Yeah. I've had some gluten-free beers, and I don't think I've had a really good one yet.
I have one at home. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the better gluten-free beers I've ever had. Maybe I'll bring it on the next show.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, I think it's a gluten-free IPA. It basically tastes like a session IPA, maybe brewed by a home brewer.
I need a lemon shandy that's half coconut water.
That actually sounds fantastic.
I could do that.
Yeah. I love coconut water, and I love a good lemon shandy. Oh, wow. Look at that. You drank yours before me.
I did.
You just pounded that.
I wanted to get it done.
Well, what you can do then is I finish mine is set up the next one.
I'm going to go get the next one set up.
Oh, let's see. What are people talking about? I'm going to send some Two Brothers Prairie Path. It's a good gluten-free beer. I've heard of that one before, Skull. Oh, description of it and clean on. Electrolyte, that's what plants crave. That's actually how I pitched this article to Jeff.
That's actually in the video description.
Ooh, what is this? What is all this? This looks fantastic.
Oh, you don't know that bourbon?
Oh, no, Elijah Craig, I was looking at the bitters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've never had that. Anyways, so Jeff is... Oh, God, this is horrible. It's just sugary and flat.
Yeah.
It's such a bad tasting thing. Whew. All right, screw this.
Almost there.
This was so bad that it didn't even go on my show. Hops and Brews. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Hey, I plugged my show. What is that? I've never even heard of that soda before.
Good stuff. Very good stuff. Steve said real sugar is what he wanted, so I got a...
I mean, what is real sugar?
cane sugar.
Well, isn't all sugar real sugar? There's sugars.
Oh, the Sugar Institute of America is gonna come down on you hard now.
Oh, whatever.
My channel's gonna get copyright struck.
When you sit there and say the word sugar...
You know what? I picked up the glasses to put ice in them, and then I left the glasses over there. I brought ice in a tin.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Well, I was like, you're going to shake this up?
No.
That's not good, Jeff.
No,
this is a carbonated beverage.
I understand that, John. All right.
So, do you want to explain the beverage?
Yes.
Right,
so, I am going to make a proper whiskey and cola. Not a whiskey and Coke, a whiskey and cola. You can use Coca-Cola with real sugar, so if you get like the Mexican Coca-Cola or whatever in the glass bottles, that's one way to do it. I'm using a Blue Sky Cola. It's a little lighter on the tongue.
No fruit juice. Well, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, no fruit juice, but made with real cane sugar, which I do prefer that to
the cheap stuff?
To cheaper stuff, to Coke and Pepsi.
Elijah Craig
Kentucky Straight Bourbon. This is one of my favorite bourbons. It's 94 proof, so it's a little higher proof than normal. But it's just good. So, a couple things of ice. I'm going to drop a cherry in. Into each. One for me. For you. And these are not maraschino cherries, these are Bordeaux cherries.
So they're not back sweetened.
Right.
Tons of sugars.
They're still super sweet.
Sweet, but they're not
right.
Fake. I don't know, maraschino cherries always taste fake.
Right. Quarter ounce to a third ounce of lime juice is typically what I do, or what you consider a splash.
Now you can substitute that with a lemon.
You can do lemon juice as well. Yeah. I prefer
lime and Coke and lime. You see that a lot, or cola and lime.
Yep. So a little bit of lime juice. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces of bourbon. I wouldn't do this with a rye. I think a rye is going to be too harsh. I would definitely do this with a bourbon. There we go.
So what is that, 1.5 ounces?
1.5 ounces. 2 dashes of a cardamom bitters. There we go. Give those a quick little stir.
Now, always when you're doing this, make sure to pour the liquor on the bottom. Don't pour your Coke first.
Right.
And then put all your ingredients. Your Coke should be the last.
Right. And also stir your ingredients before you add the Coke. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of the cola.
Yeah, don't just pour your cola in
there. Right.
Otherwise, it's not really a cocktail. It's just, whiskey and Coke. You're just dumping a bunch of alcohol in Coke.
Yeah, I'm doing a little closer to 2.5, but
it's fine.
There we go. That is a whiskey and cola. John.
Thanks, Sarah. Cheers. That already smells pleasant. Mm-hmm. Like, you smell a little whiskey. The bitters is really nice.
Yes. It's much lighter on the mouth.
Ooh.
It's
nice.
very citrusy.
Yeah.
It is not a sweet drink.
No, it's got more of a sour, savory flavor to it.
And it evolves like 10 seconds after you're done drinking it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of there's some bitterness afterwards.
Yeah, there's a bitterness, and then it sweetens up right at the very end as well.
Yeah.
But quite a bit after you're done drinking it.
Mm-hmm. We had actually a donation while you were making it.
Oh, nice. Corey, $5. Have you guys seen the tool that sets up a beer for shotgunning, John?
Yes, I have. I was even put that on there in the Discord. So I thought about making a video of it, and people were asking me, why would you shotgun a beer?
Yeah.
I had to explain to people that idiots do that type of thing.
Right.
Because it's crappy, cheap beer.
Yep.
You would never shotgun a double IPA or even just a regular IPA.
Right.
Something of quality. Usually you're just pounding it down for the sake of, I need to get this down as quickly as possible.
Yep. So,
You want to get to really quickly this last one, or you just want to go straight?
No, let's jump into it. We got a couple minutes here.
We got a couple minutes. Yeah. So, speaking of cheap beers, Busch beer.
A beer that you may shotgun.
A beer you may shotgun, and in the woods. Yep. Not Anheuser-Busch. Well, yeah, it's Busch. Busch beer is actually offering you the opportunity to receive 1 year's worth of free Busch beer.
That's right.
Actually, the really cool part about the cool part about this, though, is they are actually giving you kind of a treasure hunt. Mm-hmm. They will be placing these special medallions throughout some forests through New York through Alaska, so all over the United States.
Yeah,
I believe they're placing like 10. And so there will be 10 trees, and they'll be giving clues out via their social media starting September 18th. So coming up pretty soon. Mm-hmm. And what this is for is actually so you can go on a hike and spend time out in the woods, and you can go look for these type of things. But it's for our National Forest Foundation fund, and it's basically just to preserve our national parks and a lot of really cool national places. And they're stating that because of this, to help fund this, to help preserve like water, to keeping good clean water out there for them to use, even though that's crap. Mm-hmm. But we all know where their water comes from. But it is a really nice cause, and I really do like the fact you get people outdoors, and actually more like it just for the treasure hunting.
Oh, absolutely.
Who doesn't like a good just treasure hunt?
Yeah,
I like a good treasure hunt. And then there's also the mysteries being solved.
I got a golden ticket.
Yeah, you know. So that's kind of cool. If you are in or around a woodsy area, check out Busch's, I believe it's going to be their Twitter feed, or I will check this article out, and check out their social media. Heck, maybe they put a medallion around your park, around your house.
See, I'd much rather they put the golden bottle caps into the cans of Slurm.
I don't even want to know how they make Busch beer.
Make Busch beer. Those are the Crunkalunkas.
Crunkalunka, dunka-dee, don't. I forget.
Asking questions is a great way to learn. If you do that thing here, you might get your legs broke. Such a great episode.
Yeah.
We once found a dead guy face down in the Slurm. It could easily happen to one of you folk. Yeah, this ain't bad.
No, this isn't bad. Yeah. This isn't your again. This is not your traditional whiskey and coke.
This is not your college whiskey and coke.
No, this is This is whiskey and cola.
Right.
Cocktail.
Yes.
This isn't just the over-the-counter two ingredients.
Right, and yeah, this isn't 50% whiskey and 100% cola. This is a sipping cocktail. It's a
I would not pound this.
You're not going to pound this down.
I wouldn't pound this down.
There's a lot of lime in there, obviously from the lime juice. Those bitters are very, very strong, but there's a lot of citrus flavor there. It actually takes what is kind of a college frat drink and makes it very, very complex.
Yeah. Let's get a little apple.
Mm-hmm.
Like apple juice, sour apple juice.
A little Granny Smith there.
Yeah, a little Granny Smith.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like it.
But like I said, it's from a regular Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever else. This is a much more, I'd say, effervescent.
Yes, very much
taste to it.
Now, I don't know. I rarely ever do have when I'm at home, a whiskey and cola or something like that. This was a bit more complex for my taste. I'm late at night. I just want to, have something quick. For me, I usually go for more of a gin and tonic.
I'm a gin and tonic, or in the winter, I'm like a rum and coke.
Yeah.
So I'll do rum and coke at home. Sometimes a brandy and coke. If I'm going to do something syrupy, but I don't drink a lot of soda.
No, I don't drink a lot of soda. For the most part, in fact, that's probably one of the reasons why I don't have whiskey and coke or any kind of rum or coke. Because I just don't have soda.
Right. In my cupboard is a lot of whiskey and a lot of gin.
Yeah.
So. And actually not nearly as much gin as I need right now.
No, and actually, if I did have Coke, I would probably go buy all the ingredients for like a Long Island and really get myself hammered.
Yep.
Too easily.
Yep. All right. On to some tech news.
All right. It was a little quick, but yeah, there we go. That's next one.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when
when we do it. That's fine.
Stuff. All right. AMD launches new 2000 series CPUs for AM4 socket. What? So this is a little bit of a different release for AMD.
Yeah.
For those that are expecting, they came out with a 10 core.
No,
this isn't that.
No.
This is AMD announcing 4 new CPUs as of today for the 2000 series AM4 socket. These are all Zen Plus architecture. They have, we'll start at the bottom, the Ryzen 3 2300X 4-core 4-thread with a 3.5 gigahertz base frequency and a turbo to 4.0. It is a 65-watt TDP chip and 8 megabytes of L3 cache. Now, the interesting thing about the 8 megabytes of L3 cache is this is a single CCX unit. So all 4 cores are on one of the CCX units. You only get half the amount of cache, but there's almost zero latency for your memory. There's no such thing as Infinity Fabric in this chip. It's just the chip. I'll get to pricing in just a second. There's the Ryzen 5 2500X, which is a 4-core 8-thread chip at 3.6 gigahertz, and again with a turbo of 4.0. Again with 8 megabytes of L3, and again with a single CCX unit, and that's also a 65-watt TDP chip. These two chips are not going to be aimed at system builders. They're not going to be aimed at you and me. What these are is this is actually for OEMs to start building chips that can compete with Intel's more base offerings like the i3 8100.
Yeah, that seems to be more like a pre-built stuff, packaged stuff that companies can give out to people.
Exactly. Yeah, this is for OEM system manufacturers. In fact, Acer is including it in their new Acer Nitro system, which is pictured right here. And these are chips without integrated graphics. These do not have Vega integrated graphics. Now, obviously, the 2300X is going to be very similar to your 2200G as far as the CPU goes. It's a slightly higher base frequency, but it's 4-core, 4-thread, 65-watt. Yeah. So if Acer were to build a system with an RX 560 on board or a GTX 1050 Ti or something like that, that would make a very competent combo and a chip that maybe they're paying $70 a piece for.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, well, like you said later on, you'll get to the pricing, but the pricing is comparable.
Right.
You know, it's so much cheaper. Like that system, I'm betting that Acer's gonna be putting out, or if they do put out something like you were saying,
$599.
Yeah, it's gonna be so competitive. I mean, gamers are like drooling at the mouth.
Yeah, for a gamer who doesn't want to build their own system, that's what these are going to be geared for.
I think it's going to be more hitting toward the market of console people. Like, I want to fight against those.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're pricing it at the same cost as a console.
Right.
And, again, that is if they do build it with those special, the graphics card and the RAM and everything.
Well, they have to build it with some graphics card because these don't have any onboard graphics.
No, yes. But like you were saying, something really compatible and something good, But... Yeah, $599 price point that you could easily do something around that. Probably.
Absolutely. But these chips are not going to be available at retail. These are only going to be available to system manufacturers, to OEM partners.
Now, is that these two that you just talked
about? These two X series chips.
Yeah. Okay.
These other two chips may be available at retail. That's kind of unannounced at this point, and we don't have any pricing on them yet. But these are going to be a lower power 6 and 8 core chip with SMT, with multi-threading on them. So starting with the Ryzen 5 2600E, it's a 6-core 12-thread 3.1 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz turbo again, 16 megs of L3 cache. So they are using the two triple core CCX units. And it's a 45-watt TDP rather than the traditional 65-watt at the 6-core level.
Yeah, so you get a little less wattage, a little less heat.
Right. A little lower base clock. It's about 300 megahertz lower than the Ryzen 5 2600. And it probably clocks even lower than that when it's sitting at idle. But what this is for a low power slimline system where you can get a lot of multi-threading in there, but it's not necessarily the main focus of that chip.
Yeah.
Wow, Twitch all of a sudden blew up. Hello everyone on Twitch.
Twitch likes beer. Well, it's Skull and Funky Love.
Okay.
It's just our regular guys on Twitch.
Never mind. I look over and all of a sudden there's 2 YouTube comments and the rest of the page is full of Twitch, and I went, did we just get like spammed?
Well,
what the heck?
Unless Funky Love is I thought is that Funky Monkey or I don't think so, but Skull's on Twitch.
Yeah, I think that's Funky Monkey.
Yeah, okay.
Or Funky Monk.
Yeah, Funky Monk.
Yep.
But then there is one more that they are putting out too.
Right, and that is the Ryzen 7 2700E, and that is an 8-core, 16-thread, 2.8 gigahertz, and again with that 4 gigahertz turbo.
Yeah.
So they are not backing down from that max clock.
No, which is nice.
That's very, very nice. And this is also 16 megs of cache, and again that 45-watt TDP.
This was the one that was like, I'm interested in that one.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'm betting if they do release this one for consumers, I bet a lot of people would go for that because I'm betting this is going to go for like $225, $250 or around that,
Yeah.
Very reasonable price if it does.
This is going to undercut that 2700.
Yeah.
Which is the 65-watt chip that this is compared to. And again, that's a 3.2 gigahertz with a 4.1 turbo. But the same amount of cache, the same amount of everything else.
20% less power.
I would say 250 or less is what this is going to market for.
Probably. And with something like this, you can overclock this, and you probably wouldn't need to water cool your system too well. You could probably get away with a pretty good fan. Maybe even just a good heat sink.
When they're clocked to the same level, they're probably going to exhibit the same amount of heat. What's the nice thing about this is the idle temperature is going to be way, way lower.
Yeah.
When this CPU is not being used, it's going to drop well below the wattage of a 2700X or 2600X. Whereas those are sitting at 1.8 gigahertz at all times, and they're drawing 30 watts. These are going to idle at like 10 watts.
Yeah.
So
your day-to-day temperature will be a lot lower.
Right.
You're not going to get that whole like, I have a heater in my room.
Right. Home theater systems, NAS boxes.
Yeah.
Think of use cases like that where you want a nice, quiet machine that has a little bit of grunt behind it, but its main job is to sit there and be on.
Oh yeah, and like I think the pricing point, it's the Ryzen 7 27, that's about a $300 chip, and the 26X is like a $200 chip.
Yeah.
So this should fit right in that meaty area, like you're saying, the 250,
exactly.
225, I think.
The 2600E may also be a very intriguing chip. It's going to be sub 180, I would bet.
Yeah.
Because the 2600 is priced at $199.
Ooh.
And this is slotting below that.
Yeah. So that's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only two difference is that you're getting 6 cores versus 8 cores. But other than that, your base clock are almost the same. And actually, the 26E has a higher base. So.
Right. Yep.
Cool news.
So, very, very intriguing chips from AMD.
Again, AMD is just cranking out some cool stuff.
They're bringing it.
They are just... It's almost as if, like, Intel's on the floor, and this isn't even a boxing match. This is more of a UFC fighting, and the ref's looking the other way, and they're just pounding at Intel.
Right.
Like, they know they won the match, and they're still going.
Right. Where AMD isn't on top yet is in single-threaded performance and is in gaming performance when you compare the 8700K to the 2700X. When you compare apples to apples, and we'll compare apples to apples here in a little bit.
Yeah.
When you compare apples to apples on their equivalent competitive chips, AMD falls a little bit behind in single-threaded performance. Now, the gap is way closer than a lot of people think it is. We're talking like 5% at this point.
Yeah.
For equivalent clock speed. Now, I know Intel still has that overclock realm where they can get up to that 5 gigahertz mark on 8700K, whereas the 2700X is struggling to hit 4.3 and 4.4 with regularity. But if you clock both chips at 4 gigahertz, AMD's not that far behind.
No, but I think for me, and there is performance and with budget. You can spit out as much money as you want on a lot of computers, but you're saying, oh, your $1,500 to $1,700 computer, my $500 computer can compete. Now, it may not win the race, but it can compete.
Right. And not only that, the 2700X dominates in multi-threaded performance. Yeah. It absolutely dominates Intel.
So that's where I think Intel, is still technically winning the performance overall or individual performances.
They're winning in the gamers' minds. A lot of people are starting to come around to Camp AMD and going, you know what? They're a far better value.
Yes,
and they're not only a better value, they're just straight up faster.
Yeah, well, the $1,000 you could save on a ultimate build. How many games could you buy with that? How much of a nicer monitor and keyboard and mouse and headset and chair and desk setup could you, and camera and YouTube Twitch channel, could you start with that extra $1,000? You know, and you could still have a computer that would still be perfectly fine for gaming.
Oh, that cherry at the end.
Was it?
Oh.
No, we're probably going to have something extra.
We're probably going to have to break out a fourth drink here. That first one I intentionally downed pretty quick. Oh, that cherry at the end.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
That is nice. Because it's so much better than a miniature. You know what? It was like having that lime and Coke, and then there was an apple, and now it turned into cherry and Coke.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really nice progression. Very, very pleasant.
Very pleasant. Super complex, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Actually, there was complexity, but there's...
And it changed as you drank it, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like the mouth changed as like, oh, it starts here and it goes here and then it finishes here.
No. As the ice melts,
it starts super, super citrusy, super lime, a lot of citrus-forward flavors in it. After you swallow the drink, it takes like 10 seconds to fully develop in your mouth even after that. Yeah. And I almost got like this caramel aftertaste on the way back end. Like once that the bitterness faded, I got almost like the like a Werther's kind of caramel flavor.
Yeah.
As I'm drinking the drink, like you said, some green apple started coming out, and I started getting a little bit more of the oak from the bourbon and whatnot, and so even through the glass it progressed, and then at the very end that cherry just
it was a great finisher.
That was good.
It was a great finisher.
That was fantastic. Just soaking in there for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we have two options here just before we probably get to the next thing. Yep. We can either... I brought a homebrew. If you are on Jeff's Discord, it only costs $1. But you will know that I made a homebrew of a Hazy Imperial New England style IPA.
That's right.
This is a 10.5% IPA.
Yep.
It's a bit big. I brought enough for a pint of each, so we probably get pretty fast. Or do you want to go something a bit lighter right now?
We could probably do something a bit lighter. I have a couple options out in my fridge. Let me go see what I have.
I can do that, and you want to get into the next article?
Tell you what, we can do that. Head on out to my beer fridge.
Okay.
And pretty much anything on the bottom two shelves is fair game. The top shelf is just a bunch of singles.
Okay.
So.
All right. I'll leave this right there.
Cool.
There you go.
I've got some blood orange wild ride out there. I've got...
I'll surprise.
Yeah, figure it out. You got it. All right. So let's get into some Intel talk. Speaking of how Intel's kind of floundering, let's see what they have on their upcoming docket. The i7-9700k purportedly has some leaked benchmarks. Now, I'm taking this article with a metric ton of salt. And the reason I'm taking this article as such, but still sharing it, is it comes from kind of a shady source. I've never heard of the source before. The information within seems legit as far as CPU-Z and a couple other metrics go. And the scores within his synthetic tests seem accurate to me. For an 8-core, 8-threaded, which is, again, they're taking hyper-threading away from the i7. They're making that an i9. Whatever, they're shifting their naming scheme. But they're taking multi-threading away from the i7, so it's an 8-core, 8-thread. These numbers seem accurate to me. What doesn't seem accurate is the gaming metrics that are held within. So if we get down to the 3D Mark Firestrike and Time Spy and Battlefield 1 and Doom and whatnot. These metrics, I literally looked at these and threw them away because all of these seemed GPU limited. None of these are CPU limited, and if they were games that were normally CPU limited, he didn't test them properly. But looking at the synthetic scores, it's very... I'll say it's intriguing to me, to say the least. So, the i7-9700k reportedly has 8 cores, 8 threads, and has a base frequency of 3.6 gigahertz with a 4.6 gigahertz on all active cores. So it has a 4.6 gigahertz all-core turbo. It's able to carry 2 cores at a time up to 4.9. Has 12 megabytes of L3 cache, which is a little bit of a divergence from Intel because normally that's been a factor of their number of CPU cores. So if you got a 6 core, you got 6 or 12 megabytes. And if you had
it's usually double.
Yeah, it's usually double or single. It's not this 1.5 garbage that they have right now. So I'm not quite sure what's up with the 12 megs of L3 cache. But the CPU Z seems accurate to me. They did report that they are running on an unreleased Z370 or Z390 motherboard, and they didn't want to break any embargoes with the Z390, but we'll go ahead and break embargoes with the i7-9700k.
Because we want to.
I don't know why. I don't know why they wanted to make that distinction. So they covered the motherboard up in this weird cloth. And actually did quite a nice job with it.
Yeah, it almost... What is that? That's weird.
Yeah, it's like a piece of paper or piece of cloth that they cut over the top of it.
Mesh or something. Or is it just Photoshop?
Oh, it's just blurred.
It's just Photoshop.
Okay. Yeah, it's just blurred.
Yeah, that's too crisp of lines to be cloth.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they obscured their motherboard that they were using, but said it's an unreleased Z390 chipset with 16 gigs of Trident ZDDR4 at 3600 megahertz and a GTX 1070, which seems like an odd benchmark setup. Why not use a 1080 Ti? Or hey, if you're going to use unreleased hardware, why not a 2080 Ti?
Right.
But I digress. So W Prime, they got a score of 28,411, which is up from the 8700K of 30,945, which is up from the Ryzen 7 score of 36,182, which seems low to me for the Ryzen tests. Cinebench. The Cinebench number seems accurate. So that is the 9700K reportedly hits 1476, and I'm assuming this is under stock frequencies. Losing to the Ryzen 7 1700X and the 2700X, which seems accurate, and coming just above the 8700K, which also seems accurate.
Yeah.
Again, we've got 2 more physical cores, but fewer threads. 8 core 8 thread versus 6 core 12 thread. But scoring in front of the Ryzen 5 2600. Now, I actually didn't look this up beforehand. I probably should have. I actually have scores for the 2600 that I ran myself.
Personally done?
So I want to see if that number even jives.
Is that what you have here?
Yep.
Oh, well, how long will that take?
A couple seconds. All right.
Oh, okay, you have it saved.
Yeah. Yep. So I got a 1227 at stock speeds on my Ryzen 5 2600 and a 1379 overclocked. So yeah, he's right in the middle.
He's right in there.
Right in the middle of my ballpark. So yeah.
1286.
Yep. And again, RAM variances, run-to-run variances.
Yeah. Now, did you just did that standard though, right? Or what was yours at?
Mine was stock.
Okay, that was
yeah,
stock.
the 1227.
So yeah, you're right. You're
stock.
right. Everything's
So, yeah,
probably stock.
Within margin of error is what I would say. So the numbers kind of jive as accurate. Again, I'm throwing out most of his other numbers because I don't think he knows how to benchmark. I don't think this site is one that normally breaks news. But 8 cores, 8 threads. Intel, I'm really confused. I am very confused by
what they're doing.
If you want to beat AMD at their own game, make your chips a better value. Unlock multi-threading. Unlock core multiplier.
They're just going through their warehouse and like, what do we got? What do we got left that we're like, we didn't like that. We didn't like that.
Well, they totally are, but the product they brought to Computex was an overclocked 28-core Xeon with a water chiller.
Well, they just wanted that because they needed to steal the show. And because they had the show before AMD's...
But if you want to steal the show with a product, give me an i5-8400 that's just unlocked. Yeah. Give me a 9700K that's 8-core 16-thread that competes with a Ryzen 7 2700X. Oh, and then give me a 9900K that's even bigger than that. You know, so why this tiered differentiation between your products, and why are you competing with yourself? That's what doesn't jive with my brain.
That right there is actually a standard Intel thing.
Oh, it totally is.
Let's just release the exact same thing and 12 other different variations within them. That version of the i7, the i9, or the i5.
Did you realize that prior to today, AMD had exactly 6 2000 series SKUs, and they were all differentiated by very, very defined characteristics.
Yeah. How many?
Intel, gosh.
I want to say double digit.
It's not quite double digit. Let me think. So there's the i1-8100. There's the... Or i1. It might as well be i1. i3-8100. There's the i3-8350. There's the i5-8400. There's the i5-8500. There's the i5-8600. There's the i5-8600K. There's the i5-8700. There's the i5-8700K. There's the i7-8086K. There's the i7-80... Yeah, okay, so we're up to double digits. 8700T. There's an 8400S. Yeah. So we're getting into the low volt chips and things like that. And a lot of chips that most the consumers don't even pay attention to because a lot of them are OEM numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of SKUs there. Plus, I didn't even get into their Pentium range, which has like another 5. Plus, they've got their Celeron range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's in double digits of ridiculousness of I can't even keep up. What is this number? That's why people just say, "Oh, you got the latest i7." What does that even mean anymore?
Yeah. Well, there's like 6 of them, so flip a coin.
Yeah. It's just the most powerful. So my wife, she loves QVC.
Yeah.
She loves the Home Shopping Network, and one of her favorite things to do is every time they always have a computer.
Oh, just wait until they give QVC a higher number. This one has an i9 in it.
Oh God. And so, they've already had those.
No, I know.
But yeah, usually Intel or there's
Dell.
Dell. It's usually Dell. Dell usually releases a bunch of computers, and they're like, oh, they always have some salesman. So she always calls me and like, honey, is this actually a good deal? And I go in there like, yeah, you get like $100 off. Only because they're throwing Office in for free. And I'm like, yeah, you get Office for free.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you built this yourself, you could save yourself like $200, $400. But I wouldn't buy that, and I wouldn't need that, and that's a waste of money. Who needs half of this crap? You wouldn't even need that. But what they love to sell you on is what they say is you get the latest and greatest, most powerful Intel ever.
Right.
And they said that spiel 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And previous 3 months. And all it is you look it up, it's like, it's an extra 5% more powerful.
Right. And well, that's been Intel's game for the last decade. That's been Intel's game since Nehalem broke.
Yeah.
Where Nehalem was a revolutionary chip. They've been refining the Nehalem architecture since then. Since that 2008, 2009 calendar year.
Which 2008, 2009 was a great year for Intel.
Oh, it was a phenomenal year.
Yeah,
they kicked AMD's butt and took their lunch money.
Yeah.
With their i7 on the X58. They really did. But they haven't done anything since then.
No, they have been basically banking on this the whole entire time.
Yeah, they're on the same architecture that they were back then. So, yeah, Intel, you're confusing the crap out of me. But yeah, QVC reads exactly like an Apple press conference.
Oh, God.
We have the most powerful iPhone we've ever created. I sure hope so. You made a new one.
Yeah. And you're selling it to me for $200 more.
Right.
What? This better be the cat's meow.
For the iPhone X is the world's #1 smartphone. Bull, it's not even your #1 smartphone. Now, I've been accused of many things. I am a very, very much a realist when it comes to hardware, when it comes to an ecosystem, when it comes to companies and releases and promises and technologies. I'm very much a realist. There was a time I was banging the Apple drum because they were making the best products out there.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Unequivocally, they made the best smartphones. They were the best constructed. They were the most comprehensive ecosystem, I would say.
Yeah.
Everything just worked. Just worked.
Well, that's what people paid for.
But it really did.
Yeah, no,
it totally did. Their professional products were actually used by professionals for professional work.
Yeah.
They actually supported their professionals in a professional capacity where they would actually, I don't know, repair things from time to time. You wouldn't have to suffer downtime. They actually made a pro product once every 5 years. So there was a time I was completely on board with Apple. Even their 5K iMac Pro, or rather the iMac Pro, not the 5K iMac, but the iMac Pro, if you price out comparable hardware, and I mean apples to apples hardware, I'm serious. If you price out apples to apples hardware, if you take the same CPU and the same RAM and a good case and a good power supply and a Vega 56 card and a 5K 10-bit panel monitor, it's about $5,000. It's the same price that Apple charges. So there's
like,
no...
Why not? It's pre-built. They're not charging me anything.
Right, so there is no Apple tax.
And it's plug and play.
Right, the problem is it comes in support. The problem is, how do they support it as a professional product? If you're marketing this as a professional product, professionals care about two things. They care about actual performance of a unit. They don't care what it looks like. They don't care... brass tacks. They care about performance when they're actually trying to do their work. So a video editor trying to get through Premiere.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, something like that, yeah.
They care about how well it works as far as, is this accurate to what I need? Does this do the job that I need? And they care about uptime. They care about, if something breaks, how quickly can I get back up and going?
Yeah.
And there was a time Apple was the best in the business at that. Where if you had AppleCare, you were back up and running in 24 hours if you had a bad hard drive in a laptop.
Well, they would replace it,
or you broke a screen on your iPhone, or you did this or you did that. They were the best, and over the last 5 years, they're among the worst in my opinion now. But that's all to say, Apple has some new products out today. So I'm going to approach this from kind of a realist sense as someone who's owned a number of iPhones, owned a number of MacBooks, owned a number of Mac Pro desktops, and used them professionally over the years. Well,
now you have a couple of Androids and PCs and other competitive Apple products.
My Apple Mac Pro has been sitting on the floor there and it hasn't moved in 6 months.
Yeah.
Hasn't moved in 6 months. Hasn't been turned on in 6 months. Because it wasn't reliable anymore. And that's a 2009 Mac Pro, and that's one that I did a video on. And it's one of my favorite towers of all time, but it's 9 years old at this point. It's long in the tooth. I needed more than that, and it wasn't performing anymore. Especially when I went to my new camera, and I'm all of a sudden editing 50 megabit video, and it can't keep up with anything anymore. So let's start with the watch.
Okay. All right.
Let's start with the watch. So Apple released the new Series 4 watch, and it has what they claim to be an edge-to-edge OLED display. I wasn't seeing edge-to-edge.
I still see an edge. It's not edge-to-edge.
But there's a bezel that goes all the way around, and it's not inconsiderable.
No.
It's a decent edge. The glass goes edge-to-edge, which the glass went edge-to-edge before, but that OLED display doesn't stretch to the very edges of that display.
No.
They're trying to play a trick on you.
You can see there's a pretty
distinct band going around the outside.
There, and even we haven't gotten to play with, but the images that we have seen that they have released, it's not edge to edge.
Right. And here's why I'm being critical: it's because they claimed it's edge to edge.
Yeah. It's a pretty looking watch.
If you say bezel-less, I expect bezel-less. I expect no bezel. If you claim edge to edge, I expect you to reach 98% of the way to the bezel. Now, it is a much slimmer frame than was around the original Apple Watches up to the Series 3.
And I believe this is actually even thinner.
And it's a thinner construction as well.
Construction too.
But if you say edge to edge and you're touting that as a feature, I expect you to be edge to edge. And this is not.
Now, a great way, I don't know why they don't do this, probably because they wouldn't do it, is to display an image, a full picture image in there.
Yep.
And obviously they don't, because they're doing clocks and they're doing, oh, look, you can see your watch and your music time and your heart rate all in the same clock.
Right.
All in the same face.
Well, all of your backgrounds are black on the Apple Watch. And that's kind of by design. They want you to think it's edge to edge.
It's not.
It's not. So, again, I know I'm being a little overly critical here, because it is a nice looking device.
It is a nice looking device.
Stylistically beautiful. And I'm starting with this fact to kind of start digging into Apple a little bit. And I know I've dug into Apple before, and it's not because I'm an anti-Apple fanboy and an Android fanatic. No, I love Apple as a company. I just wish they would stop believing their own bullshit.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they have hyped themselves up so much that they are the word when it comes to anything, because we are Apple.
Right.
And we are technology.
Right.
We are tech. We set the standard. No, you need to stretch the standard.
Right.
You need to go beyond. You need to be the visionary to see past it.
Well, and the things that they're stretching now aren't the things that really need stretched. Not that having an ECG built into your watch that's approved by the FDA isn't a cool thing. That's a phenomenal thing. In fact, I'm personally interested in that because I have heart issues.
Yeah.
And I don't have an Apple product anymore to use. But if I could wear an ECG on my wrist and let myself know when I'm having a heart arrhythmia, that would be amazingly cool.
Or know when he's getting a tweet. He's like, oh no, it's just a tweet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now it's an arrhythmia. Okay.
It's going, I can't tell the difference.
So excited.
He's getting all these notifications. Oh, people are watching my YouTube channel. No, it's not. It's my... I smell toast. I smell toast.
Black, purple, cinnamon. Oh, sorry, it's a stroke. That's two different things.
Yeah.
But so yes, that is a phenomenally cool feature, and I'm glad they were striving for that.
Yeah, great for that. But
and I'm glad that they're integrating GPS, and I'm glad that they're integrating cellular, and I'm glad that they're doing eSIM, and I'm glad that they're doing these other things.
Where was?
It's a cool device. It's a very cool device, and $399. It's not a terrible price point.
No. That's what I was about to say. So that's the base price. It's $399 by itself. It's $499
with the cellular.
With the cellular.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not upset by this release. Really? I wish they were a little... Well, look at comparable Android watches. Some of the Samsungs are getting up into the $400 price.
But the thing is, I don't even like the watches in general.
Not Huawei, but Motorola's been there for a while with the Moto.
But for me, that's the thing. I don't even like the smartwatches because now watches, these accessories for cell phones in general, are starting to come out to be almost as pricey as phones used to be 5 years ago.
Right.
And it's ridiculous. I hated going into the cell phone,
5 years ago, the top tier iPhone, and Android phone for that matter, the top tier Samsung, the top tier iPhone 5, 5S, whatever, was between $8 and $850.
Yeah.
That was the top out-of-pocket cash payment for that phone.
Yeah.
Now, remember back then, those phones were subsidized for $250, and $300.
Yeah, because you would have to sign up for a contract, and that's how they got you.
Now, you're signing up for a contract, and you're paying a monthly annuity.
And and you're paying the full price of, which is now ridiculous.
And by the way, they've also changed our cell phone pricing, so our cell phone plan stayed the same, but they took away the incentive to buy the phone. Now you just pay for the phone outright, and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, it's how it's always been." No, it hasn't. No. My cell phone plan used to be $100 a month for unlimited data for 2 phones. Now I pay $170 a month for 2 phones for not unlimited data, and I have to pay for my cell phone out of pocket.
Yeah, as an extra monthly bill. It's just like so I don't even own my cell phone anymore, so I can't go and turn around and be like, I'm gonna go buy a cheap one, and I'm going to go sell this one used to unlock it.
My iPhone 6S Plus died within the 2-year payment cycle. I haven't used my iPhone 6s Plus since December because Apple refused to fix it.
Another reason.
Another reason that I am totally not on the Apple hype train anymore. But I haven't used my iPhone since December. I paid it off last month.
Yeah.
That was my final payment last month.
And honestly, that's why, I mean...
And that was $35 a month that I was paying for
that's why I rarely ever get new phones. It's just, I'll stick... I got a S6 Plus Curve. Yeah. Or, you know, with the Edge.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's getting... I'll probably get the new Samsung when it comes out. Maybe...
Yeah. I bought an essential phone.
But yeah, I might even just go and upgrade to that just because...
This was $350. In fact, they've been as low as $225.
And I could just outright buy that in one decent payment.
Right.
And I'll probably be happy with it.
The $250 price point, that's 4 payments of the new top flight iPhone. That's 4 payments. The new top flight iPhone, if you buy it from Apple, number one, you have to get it with Apple Care, which is $300 for Apple Care. Yeah. Now, if you buy it through your cell phone provider, that is optional.
Okay.
You don't have to buy it through the cell phone provider. But if you get it from Apple, you have to get Apple Care, and that's $300. It's a $1,449 phone. Now, ostensibly, it has 512 gigs of storage, but that 512 gigs of storage is a $400 upgrade to the 64 gig base model. You can get a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD with the same NAND flash memory in it today for $200.
Oh yeah, and so I think these are rated for 500 gigs right now.
Right. Yeah, you can put a 512 SD.
Yeah, but the new ones the Note 9 I think is rated for a 1 terabyte.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do 500 on board and 500 in an SD.
Yeah. Oh no, it's rated for a 1 terabyte SSD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
they're not out yet.
No,
yeah,
they're not.
They're only up to 512.
Yeah. But no, coming out soon. So you can get a terabyte and a half for cheaper of storage space.
Right.
And it is a bit bigger of a phone. But again, it's moving to this cheaper range of what is Apple doing? I don't know. I don't get it. And they're thinking they're the cat's meow. I said that already, but I don't want to use other phrases.
Right, and that comes back to my point. They're believing their own bull. They've bought into themselves wholeheartedly. They have their heads so far up their own butts that they can't see what their end goal is anymore. They went from 5 years ago truly marketing to professionals, creative developers, content creators, creative pros, essentially, who were into photography and wanted to do their video and photo editing on a Mac and wanted to live in the ecosystem and wanted to have a good camera in their smartphone, to all of a sudden, all of their marketing is 100% to, and I mean no offense by this comment, to suburban moms and people who will just buy the next iPhone because, oh, look, it's in gold.
They're the Range Rovers right now.
They've gone from actually being usable products to marketing themselves as status symbols.
Yes.
Now, when the iPhone first came out, they were marketed as status symbols. When the iPhone came out, it was a $700 phone, and everyone, oh my God, $700 for a phone.
Look at the quality you get, and everything like what can it do? And it actually is, because back then too, camera phones were crap. You know, things would crash. It wasn't that great.
Oh, and the first 2 iPhones were crap for cameras too.
Yeah, but that's what they started going to. I mean, they even invented the whole cell phone picture photographer.
Yes,
iPhone did that.
Right.
People, even to this day, I know professional photographers that say there's just something about the lens in an iPhone that they will take specific photos on their iPhone because it captures light some special way.
Right. And I don't take away that the iPhone is not a good phone. I believe it is a good phone.
Yes.
I believe it's got good hardware. I believe it's fast. I believe the cameras are good. My problem is, how is the iPhone XS Max that much more advanced today than the iPhone 6s Plus was when it came out versus the iPhone 4 when it came out? It's the same level of technology, and technology gets cheaper over time.
Yes.
And you're the same company producing the same quality devices, but somehow the price has gone from $200 with a cell phone subsidy to $600 outright to $900 outright to now $1,450 outright.
Now you hit on this really quick. Now we didn't talk about this, but you hit it. the new names of the new iPhones is the iPhone SX and the iPhone SX Max.
Yeah.
You never said that yet.
Yeah.
Which is a 5.8
Sorry, iPhone XS. They're calling it the 10.
The XS.
Not the iPhone XS.
Yes, because even though the other one wasn't the other one the X? The iPhone X?
I think they were calling it iPhone 10, but everyone called it the X.
Oh.
But
because, I thought they jumped 2 numbers and they just went to iPhone
Well,
X.
just like Microsoft, they skipped 9.
Yeah.
Is what it was. They introduced the iPhone 8 and then they introduced the iPhone 10.
Yeah.
Which is like, come on.
I never heard anyone say iPhone 10. I always heard iPhone X.
Right, and that's what
but then they just market it now it's XS.
Right.
And extra small, which is not.
No, I love that the new iPhone, which is touted as this bloated piece of technology that no one needs, is called the iPhone XS.
Yeah.
And so, I wish I had it in front of me, but I was reading through a Reddit thread today, and someone said, I love that iPhone is copying the nomenclature from the automotive industry. I really cannot wait for the iPhone Sport S Type TR.
Yeah, I know. The SRTR.
Yeah.
Rally Drive GTX.
Right. I wish I could credit you right now because that one made me laugh.
That was, yeah, you posted that. I saw that. It was funny. But yeah, they're posting that the iPhone X. I don't even know if they're. What's really bad is it's lowercase s. So is it the iPhone X's or the iPhone XS?
It's the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max, and then the iPhone XR.
Okay, so the highest end iPhone XS Max is going to be selling for $1,449.
$1,449 for the 512 gig
and
model.
512 gig model. Although, okay, so you can get.
How is that phone more advanced than an iPad Mini? Tell me that.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's
and an iPad Mini sold for $299.
Yeah. And your iPad Mini probably has...
And that's my problem with Apple today, is everyone says there's an Apple tax. There's absolutely an Apple tax to this phone. And there has been for the last number of years. What they do is they keep pushing the price up year by year by a couple $100. Remember last year the iPhone 10 came out and it went, we're starting at $899. And you can pick it up with the top line model for $1149. And everyone went, that's really expensive. And personally, I don't know anyone who has an iPhone 10. The only place I've seen an iPhone 10 in and around my area is in Best Buy. And when I was shopping for a new phone, when I was going, do I want to go Apple? Do I want to go Android? What do I want to do? I went in and I picked up an iPhone 10, and I started playing with it, and I went, no, you know what? The iPhone 8 is probably enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing anything on this phone other than, it locks with my face, and it doesn't have a home button. That I went...
And there's no headphone jack.
Right. That's it.
That's it. When I saw these launched today, I was just scrolling. Okay, where's the headphone jack?
By the way,
did they fix that?
They pushed the fact that you don't need a pair of headphones so hard during the show today. They had Todd Howard come out and introduce Elder Scrolls Blades and say the new stereo speakers on the iPhone are so amazing you don't need to use headphones to get full quality stereo sound. They had him come out and push that.
Because they probably had it in like one of those toilet paper rolls. Like, look, it splits the audio.
Right.
It's so good.
Yeah.
No, I've seen so many people walk around with the new earbud, the wireless Bluetooth earbuds. They look ridiculous. I'm sorry, you look ridiculous.
iPhone Z71, iPhone VTech, iPhone SUX, iPhone RTX. Jeff's kids in the background. Yeah, my 1-year-old daughter has an ear infection right now, so she's very, very unhappy upstairs. You can probably hear her. So yeah, a couple thoughts for her. She went from basically having croup to having like the sinus thing to going to an ear infection, and now she's almost over a double ear infection, but it landed back in her sinuses. She's been miserable for 2 weeks straight. So you can probably hear her.
Yeah.
There's an iPad Mini, iPhone Type R, exactly. You should see the Australian prices. 2,400 Australian.
Ooh.
2,400. So
I'll tell you what. Send 2 over to us.
Right.
And we'll split the difference.
Gotcha. But here's the thing. How is the iPhone XS that much better than the iPhone X year over year. What better technology, what better refinements. I'll tell you, they went from 10 nanometer down to 7. They're saving money on the die.
Why are they doubling or 25% increasing their price?
Right. They put a little bit more lithium in there for the battery, which costs them literally like 3 pennies. They redefined the camera market. You put a new lens in the camera and bought a new sensor from Sony. Whoop-de-doo. You didn't add any haptic feedback. You didn't add this. You didn't add that. You didn't change the display. You didn't do this. You didn't do that.
In fact,
what is different? Besides the price.
Yeah, I even saw a lot of.
Well, it has the new A12 instead of the A11. It's an in-house ARM processor that, you developed yourself, but it's the same price as the one last year.
Yeah, even the iOS is people. I was reading some people are like, it's actually missing a lot of comforts that the old one had.
Yeah.
They're like, it doesn't come with pre-built shortcuts. You have to actually go and download these shortcuts. Yeah. And they were just like, this is just kind of ridiculous. And they were saying even the update itself was rather large. It was almost 3 gigs for the iOS, so the platform. So you're already losing 3 gigs in just the platform itself. I mean, if you have an older phone, 3 gigs is a lot. I mean, it's just ridiculous what they're doing, I think.
Yeah, it's the same exact Face ID camera. It's the exact same rear camera situation. It's the same 12 megapixel sensors they've been buying from Sony for the last 7 years. It's the same lens situation that they put in the iPhone 7.
But it's the largest iPhone ever. 6.5 inches, Jeff. For $1,400. You can get 6.5 inches.
Whoop-de-doo.
That's what they're getting you on. But although they do have a 6-core CPU on this.
That they designed themselves. That doesn't cost them anything more than the 4-core did last year.
You do get an hour and a half extra battery. That's what you're getting. Hour and a half.
Should I trust Apple's software management, or should I trust that they put better battery chemistry in their batteries? What should I trust more?
Yeah, actually, what was funny was for the cheap one, or the cheaper the
XR.
the XS one. Yeah. They were telling you get an extra 30 minutes.
30 minutes of life on your phone.
I was like, who gives a crap about 30 minutes? I'm gonna pay $700 for 30 extra minutes.
We were watching the press conference today, and what did they say? Something on the Apple Watch, and I think it was pricing for the Apple Watch, and Tim comes on the stage and he goes, "So we'd like to announce pricing for the new Apple Watch Series 4." And my buddy behind me goes, "It's the same as last year." And Tim goes, "It's the same price as the last model." or same battery life or something. Yeah. It was like, we did exactly what we did last year.
And we're just calling it something else.
Right.
With a little bit sleeker look.
So, and I don't really want this to be a crap on Apple fest. Again, because I like Apple as a company. And Apple as a company 5 years ago was a juggernaut when it came to development, when it actually came to refining the processes. Honestly, they kind of lost their way. And I think they lost their way right around the time the Retina MacBook Pros came out, where they were still good machines, but there were a couple features that they took away that I went, eh.
Okay, so
maybe you're not pro level anymore. Maybe you're not focusing on that anymore.
It kind of seems, honestly, this is very reminiscent of old 80s, 90s Apple.
Of like 95 Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much. Very much.
It's just, how much of this do you think, I don't really care for the guy in general, but the Steve Jobs, how much of this, before he passed away, was his vision of like, let's go in that direction, and now they're like, we're out, we got nothing left?
I don't think they have nothing left. I think they're a company without a vision.
Well, that's the thing. I think, do you think that the reason they were so good up till about 5 years ago was they were just milking some visions he had, possibly that they never announced yet?
I don't think so much. He was very much an ideas guy.
That's all he was. He really was just an ideas guy.
He was an ideas guy, and he was a marketer. He was a marketer above all else. Yeah. He could sell ice to an Eskimos. Yeah. But the thing is, he would approach his engineering team and says, you're going to do this, and you're going to make it do this exact way, and it's going to look like this, and it's going to function like this, and you're going to figure it out. And anymore, all they're doing is they go, and I know these are memes, and I don't mean to be repeating them. Oh, the new iPhone is 7% thinner. Okay, what's the battery life? Oh, it's only 2 hours less than you got last year. I don't care. Do you realize how I use my phone? I'm on my phone 8 hours a day. Make it 2 millimeters thicker. It's not going to make one damn bit of difference in my pocket, but I'm not going to hate you come 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you actually doing? What is your vision? Are you trying to improve, or are you trying to be sexy? And right now, they're trying to be sexy.
Well, that's the thing. I think they are listening to, or we're always having to improve that little bit. Again, it kind of goes back to the little Intel thing. Mm-hmm. Kind of doing what just Intel does. We're just making little improvements here or there.
To the same process that's been the winning formula.
And instead of listening to people or being like, look, like you're saying Steve Jobs did, I need it to perform this way. I need it to look like this. Mm-hmm. Do it. I don't care how you do it. The board seems to almost be listening to the engineers like, we can't do this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And someone like Steve Jobs, they need someone to say, I don't care. Do it anyways.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of why he was considered a jerk.
Right. Make it work.
But just make it work.
Right. Exactly. So there's probably a little bit of that in there. I don't think there's anyone in that culture right now that is doing that. And like I said, I think they're a company without a vision. They don't know what their end goal is. All they're trying to do is they have a bunch of software and mechanical engineers sitting around. Well, wouldn't it be cool if we made a phone that was this thin and had this camera capability and did this? Well, yeah, that's great, but what's the use case?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but it's sexy. And that's what they're on right now, is that they're just trying to make the phone sexy. They're not trying to make it actually work. They're not trying to make their laptops better. They don't give one crap about the pro market.
Well, then, do you think that beforehand, early in this early smartphones, the iPhone 1, 2, and 3...
And not bang in your pocket.
Yeah. Between the first 3 iPhones, I think they were in danger. And they were swinging for fences, and they're like, we have to push stuff. And now they're in a comfortable position to be like, we're good.
No,
we can do whatever.
No, I don't think that. Now, leading up to the release of the first iPhone, the leading smartphone brands were BlackBerry and Palm.
Yeah.
And you had Windows kind of entering the market with like the Samsung Blackjack and the HTC 8350 or 8150 or whatever that one was. It was like this flip out keyboard.
Like Windows NE or something.
Yeah, it was Windows CE.
CE.
And whatnot. So the smartphone market was just all over the place. No one knew what they wanted to do, and no one was anywhere close to good at it. And Apple came out and said, I have a vision, and this is the vision, and we're going to carry this vision through.
Well, yeah.
And they did that. And anyone who's a contrarian to, oh no, Android revolution, no, bull. Apple revolutionized the smartphone market. The smartphone market you know today is because of the iPhone 1. That's why you know it as the way you know it today.
Oh yeah, the flat touchscreen slide, that is all iPhone.
Right, it's all iPhone. All iPhone. And they started refining that design, and I think they peaked with the iPhone 4S when they went to the all stainless steel frame, when it was truly a refined device. Because the first Apple iPhone was that aluminum enclosure, and it was kind of thick, and it was pretty heavy, and it got terrible battery life, and the camera was absolute crap. Oh, yeah. And it was just not.
It was a what is it? What the media players were? What were those media players?
Well, there was the Zune, there was the
iPod. It was just iPod with the phone capability.
No.
That's all it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, the iPods before that were the click wheels.
No, yeah, but so they had the iPod Touch.
No, they didn't have the iPod Touch until 3 years later.
Really?
That came out. That came out around the same time the iPad came out.
Because I still haven't. Okay, all right.
No, the iPod Touch came out, I believe, with the iPhone 3GS, which was 2 full years later.
Okay. Right. You would know more than me.
Right. But so they started refining that, and then they landed on. So they went through like that thick aluminum enclosure that was just really thick, and it really was just like a glued together. What can we make that works? They went to the iPhone 3G, then to the 3GS, and with the 3GS, they finally got a decent camera and some decent video quality out of it, and they really focused the content creation and photography capabilities of it. And then came the iPhone 4, and that was a freaking grand slam. And it really was. That was a beautiful phone.
It was a pretty decent price, too.
And it was a decent price. It was $499.
$399, something like that.
I think $399 and $499, or $199 on contract.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing price. It was a phenomenal phone. And that was the same level of technology at that time that the iPhone XS is.
Yeah.
It was the same level of technology. So why did we go from $499
to $14.99
to $999 and $14.49? Why that jump? There's nothing more in there.
Because it's 14 millimeters thinner.
No, it's the same thickness as an iPhone 4. It's the exact same thickness as an iPhone 4.
And you get an hour and a half better battery.
No, you get worse battery in the iPhone 4. So...
No, that's why it's more price. Because that's the improvement. Is you get an hour and a half better battery.
Right. So that's my point. Is I think Apple's just a company without a vision right now. I think I don't know that they're necessarily resting on their laurels, but they're a company that's afraid to take risks anymore. And they know the formula that works. But the problem is the formula that works isn't, number one, exciting, and number two, isn't meeting the needs of some core consumers.
Yeah.
They're meeting the needs of the suburban moms, of the memoji and the Animoji and things like that.
Yeah.
And God, watching the press conferences, it's really annoying to see the planted applause people that are in the audience.
It really seems like they have, on TV shows it says applause.
Right.
And it almost seems like
there are scripted applause breaks in their presentation.
Yeah.
The most obvious one to me ever, I said me-emoji, which is the Animoji where you can record your own face on the Face ID camera.
Who cares about that?
So Tim is up there and he's saying we have this great new feature with the 3D camera and we'd like to introduce it to you now. Me-emoji. And he says the word, and one guy in the crowd goes, "Woo! Yeah! Woo!" And then the crowd kind of like claps up and claps down.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't even freaking know what that means yet. Why are you clapping? There's nothing to clap for. Let him tell you what it is first. All he said was me-emoji, a word he might as well be having a stroke on stage.
It was funny when he sat there and said that, I was like, did they ban with Nintendo?
Right. We're bringing Mii's to the iPhone 7.
That's what I thought of.
Right.
Like, oh, they banned with Nintendo.
Which
cool.
Basically they did. But yeah, the planted applause and again the cult of Apple and again it feeds into them buying into their own bull, of them believing their own monologues so strongly that they get into this echo chamber where it's like, we're the best. I know you are, Tim. We're the best.
Yeah. Our stock went up 0.5%. You're the best. We're the best.
You're the best. Yeah. If I have to hear the most advanced mobile operating system on the planet again, I'm going to vomit. And it's one thing to believe in your own product, but it's another thing to drink your own Kool-Aid.
Yeah. You know who else does that, though? You know who else sits there and believes in their own product, drinks their own Kool-Aid, and does this all the time?
Yep. I do know where you're going,
yeah,
and I love that transition.
is Internet Explorer and Microsoft. Microsoft does this all the time to where they want to drink their own Kool-Aid and be like, no, our product is the best. Hey, have you guys tried Microsoft Edge yet? It's the best. It's the fastest and safest. And you said this earlier, so I wanted to talk about this when you cut it. But I some of the time, so when in my IT stuff, I'm constantly having to reboot computers and restart them. And one of the things I got today yesterday, and it just annoyed the crap out of me. It sat there and said, "Oh, you have an error or information. You think you need to go
notification.
Yeah. You need to address it." Okay, I go and address it. And it said your computer is vulnerable to
was it malware and phishing attacks?
Not malware and phishing attacks.
Because that's one of the messages that pops up.
Data, where they lock your data.
Crypto locking.
Correct, crypto locking.
Yeah.
Please sign up for your Cloud One service or your OneDrive.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'll prevent it. No, that won't do crap.
Yeah.
Denied.
Yeah.
And so Microsoft has been putting a lot of these things out in Windows 10.
Yep.
I'm a Chrome person. I use Chrome all the time.
I use Chrome and Firefox pretty much 50-50.
Yeah. So, but when I'm sitting there usually installing these, and most of the guys, the salesmen that I do, it's Chrome. So I install this, and I always get this message. And Microsoft has been testing or is about to test a brand new message.
Right. Now, for those who don't know, on Windows 10, you can no longer change the default browser from the browser you're in. So if you install Chrome and Chrome says, hey, we're not your default browser, it used to be, it says, do you want us to be your default browser? You'd click yes.
Yes.
And it would change the setting for you. Nope,
Yeah.
not
Not
anymore.
anymore.
Can't do that. Now when you say, yes, I want Chrome to be the default, it gives you instructions on how to set Chrome as your default browser.
Yeah, you have to go to settings and you have to change it.
You have to go to settings, go to apps, go to default apps, and then go down to your browser selection, which is at the very bottom.
Yeah.
So you finally go down there, and by default, it's Microsoft Edge. So if you click on that, it'll bring up any web browsers that you have installed. So let's say I click on Chrome to be my default browser. It will come up with an error message that says, hey, you already have Windows or Microsoft Edge installed. You should really check that out.
Yeah, I've gotten somewhere it says we're faster, we're better protection.
Right.
Are you sure you want to do this?
You already have the world's most advanced web browser installed. Thanks, Apple. You already have Microsoft Edge installed. You should probably check that out. And it comes up with a box and then a not box. And what I mean by that is there's this blue highlighted box that says, yes, let me check out Microsoft Edge. And then there's this blue text that sits beside it that is so nondescript, it could probably be like a warning message that no one would read anyway.
Yeah, looks like a link.
That says switch anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm really shocked it doesn't like blue screen your computer with a little sad face when you click on that and go, but I really like Edge.
But the Edge is your best.
So, number one, Microsoft must not remember the numerous antitrust lawsuits that they lost in 2001, 2007, 2012, and 2017. I looked them all up today. They must not remember that the anti-competitiveness of their browser forcing upon you to be the default has cost them billions of dollars over the years, especially with the latest $1.7 billion antitrust lawsuit, thanks to the European Union, that they are not only not allowing browsers to change the default browser for you, but they're reminding you that you already have Edge installed, and please go check that out first before you switch. Now there's a new error message.
Yes. They're testing this one out.
That is being tested in current builds of Windows 10.
And it's so fantastic. It's got this really nice, smiley, generic ethnicity colored person. Yes. I love that part about it.
He's like a really tan white guy.
Yeah, it's either really tan white or fair skinned, whatever you want it to be.
I wish I could tan like that.
You already have Microsoft Edge, the safer, faster browser for Windows 10.
Now the crap thing about this is not the fact that a message pops up when you're trying to choose your default browser. It's that they are triggering this message to pop up when you run the executable installer for Chrome or Firefox.
Yeah.
And they are targeting those two browsers. So when you open the installer for a browser, you are met first by this message that says, no, I would rather use Microsoft Edge, and then the gray box that says, no, install my browser anyway.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this message could be on your application or your Windows in October.
Yep.
So if you do see that, if you haven't already installed a browser, I almost want to uninstall in October and reinstall some browsers just to be like, hey guys, check out, I got the picture.
Well, in my organization, we use auto deployments for a lot of our third-party software. Uh-huh. So we have a base Windows image that we use on a lot of new images. And then we have a software package that we push out through a program called PDQ Deploy, which is a great deployment program for remote administration for installations. Cool. Adminarsenal.net, I believe, is the site for that. And it's cheap. It's $500 a year. Great program. They're not paying me to say that. That's a genuine plug. I use their software. I pay for their software. It's a great service. Anyway, we have this package that we deploy to all computers, new computers, and then we also run a service once every week or something that scans programs and updates programs as necessary. I'm kind of worried that when I run the Chrome MSI remotely, it's going to pop up that message and it won't actually remote install Chrome now.
Interesting. It might not. I was wondering if you do select no open, Edge.
It'll close your installer.
Will it close the installer?
I guarantee it will.
Will it delete if you downloaded it?
I don't think it's going to delete it, but it will close your installer.
How many times? I'm curious then to the inexperienced people when they see that. Let me check. How many times they would download that browser over and over again?
But the thing is, if every time you try to download the browser and it says no, open Edge instead, how many people are just going to go, I can't install Chrome on this machine and use Edge just because?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, God, you know what I'd love to... Someone hacked somehow to put that meme of Rick and Morty, the pass the butter. What is my function? To install Chrome.
You install Chrome. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That is so true.
That is the perfect use of that meme, by the way. What is my purpose? You install Chrome. Oh my God. Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been... I tried the new version of Firefox. It's all right. It's still not as smooth as Chrome for me.
It's not.
Not as user-friendly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing, is I'm so used to Chrome that unless I hear about this amazing thing, I'm probably just going to stick with Chrome.
Right. Someone says, I feel like Microsoft has been doing this forever. And then they instantly got responded to. Feels like they have been. If you're interested in all of the litigation that Microsoft has had to face for antitrust, I left the Wikipedia link down in the video description.
Yeah, I was like,
it's a great read.
Yeah.
For how many times that they've been found guilty. And it's like every single time. So you'd think they would learn at some point that, hey, we should probably stop trying this crap. Now, the antitrust in 1998, I believe it was. There was one in 94. There was another one in 98 that was settled in 2001. But there was a quote in 2001. Viewed together, three main facts indicate that Microsoft enjoys monopoly power. First, Microsoft's share on the market for Intel-compatible PC operating systems is extremely large and stable. That is still true today. Second, Microsoft's dominant market share is protected by a high barrier to entry. That is also true today. How easy is it to not only make an operating system, but make an operating system that has the full support of third-party developers?
Yeah.
That is also true today. They own, according to Steam, 98% of the PC market. Third, and largely as a result of that barrier, Microsoft's customers lack commercially viable alternative to Windows. And that is 100% true. They are using that high barrier of entry for the operating system, their monopoly on the ecosystem as a whole, and the fact that they can just cut out other people to exploit other areas of the market, i.e. browser installation and whatnot. They did this same thing to Netscape Navigator in 1998, which led to the antitrust lawsuit in 2001.
Yeah.
This is the same thing they did in Netscape Navigator. The exact same thing. Is they didn't give the end user a choice on a browser to install, and they used their monopoly position in the market to influence that decision.
That was a horrible browser, too.
IE5?
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was horrible.
It was horrible.
IE5 sucked, and everyone knew it, which is why they installed Netscape Navigator.
Yeah.
But Windows 98 was uninstalling Netscape, was warning you about installing Netscape, was blocking you from installing Netscape.
I know, when their own updated product is saying, that's a crappy product.
Yeah.
Don't do it. There was something wrong with them.
Right.
Obviously because of the lawsuit, and they had to probably do something about it.
Right. And that led to... some versions of Windows shipping without a browser installed. And in fact, in the European Union, when you installed, I believe it was Vista and on, you get a questionnaire at the beginning of your installation.
Do you want?
That says, hey, what browser would you like to install? And they cannot recommend Internet Explorer above other browsers. Instead, they have to randomize a selection of the top 5 browsers at the time, which is stuff like Opera and Safari and Firefox and Chrome and Internet Explorer. And they have to randomize the position of those during the install. I mean, it's a hardcore thing that they have to follow in the EU to install.
Why don't they do that? That would be great now, but yeah.
So, yeah, but they cannot default to Internet Explorer. They have to default to someone else.
Yeah.
On the checkbox.
Ah.
So, but yeah, so Microsoft, up to their same old tricks.
Yeah, everyone's... Well, again, Microsoft, like you said, 90%, 90+% of the market. Still, dude, you're the best.
Yeah.
You're the best. Although I know on Discord, again, $1 to join, talk a lot. We were talking Linux. And you guys were making a bunch of jokes also. But there was some serious talk within that.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, there is, it's like, oh yeah, I would join Linux if something actually supported Linux. Mm-hmm. But yeah, because it's so easy to just like, okay, Microsoft is number one. I don't need to fight it. My product's going to be fine. It's going to be supported. But yeah, when that main company is telling you, you need to try our product because it's so much better.
Or rather, when they influence their own product so hard that it makes it impossible for the other product to enter the marketplace.
Yeah.
When you're putting up roadblocks to installing someone else's product in favor of your own and using your monopoly power to do so, that's antitrust.
Yeah. If your
This is an open shut case. You can go back and read the dissertation from 1998 and just repost that lawsuit and you'd probably win.
Yeah. If your
change Netscape to Chrome and you're done.
If your product's not good enough to stand alone by itself with word of mouth to get out and about, don't do this.
Right.
Then you don't have a good enough product to sit there and say, please try us. It's so good. But you know what's funny is please trying stuff. Yeah. You want to try my beer?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's crack it.
So let's crack.
You want some fresh glasses or are these good?
It should be fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
Little blood orange never heard a good IPA.
That's a hazy IPA.
It's a hazy IPA. So it's not juice colored hazy, but definitely is not.
Oh wow, that's
clear.
like a sand.
Yeah, there you are.
Thank you, sir.
Still got good carbonation.
So tell us what you call this.
This is actually called. I was talking with Steve, and I ended up calling this Haze the Next Generation. I called it that kind of because.
I can smell the booze.
Yes. And no, you can get. There's a good hop aroma to it as well.
Oh yeah. Citra?
A lot of Citra and a lot of Mosaic.
Okay. Yeah, I'm smelling the Citra more than anything else.
Yeah. I really wanted to take a hazy IPA and...
little Mosaic there with the orange peel.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, okay.
And I cranked this to warp factor 10.
Yeah.
And really pushed the limit and went where no one has gone before.
You're full trans warp on this bitch.
Yeah. So this is a 10.5%.
I'm not going to look like Tuvix when I'm done, am I?
No.
Okay. So yes, homemade beer here on the channel. This is John's homebrew.
It's a little warm.
Haze the Next Generation. This is a 10.5% hazy IPA.
Yeah. It's a little warm. It actually tastes a little bit better cold, but it's been sitting out for a bit. But it's not bad. It's all right.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
It's actually smoother in the middle than I expected. You warned me that it's going to be very boozy.
It's the back end that's the booze.
I'm getting a lot of the hop bitterness and whatnot. Like there's hops all the way through it.
Yeah.
The center of it's actually very, very smooth.
Yeah. So it's I wanted it to be a bit more juice colored, but this was my first hazy. It definitely is. I can't see through it. So
I gotta say, those Mosaic hops, I'm getting quite a bit of the orange rind taste to it. Actually, I'm impressed, John. That's good.
This is it's not a strawberry beer.
It's not a strawberry beer. It didn't pour out in chunks.
It didn't pour out in chunks. God, it's like every other episode. Yeah, at least it's not John's strawberry beer. It was one bottle. It's the last bottle I had, and it just happened to be the very first beer. Just strawberry beer.
That was heavily bottle conditioned.
This sounds good. Let me try it. Damn it, he picked the worst one. I don't want to say anything. So.
What was really funny is I was still just getting into beer. Like I had started my craft beer journey, and you came over to the house and you, I homebrew. Oh, that's really cool. And I'm like, is that normal? I don't want to be rude. That doesn't seem normal.
And then I grabbed this is my good one. This is for me. I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, I noticed you were cradling that one awful close.
This is my last IPA. This is the grid. No, yeah. So this came out pretty decent. I'm happy. Not fantastic, but I'm at least happy I can drink this.
Yeah.
This is again pretty big beer though.
No, it's a big beer. It's 10.5%. It's definitely boozy. There's definitely some booze there. The hops, I think they blend very, very well. There's quite a bit of citrus in this drink. Like I said, there's a lot of orange peel in here. Yeah. Not like a juicy orange, but like orange rind. Like,
yes.
Like the spritz that you did.
It is a bit more of a Northwest New England style IPA.
Yes. There's more Northwest flair in here than there is New England.
Yes.
It's a Northwest style New England IPA?
Something like that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yeah. So, first time trying it. I think next time I'll do something different, but it'll be later on. I think I'm going to do some stouts and
Whoa, I got to correct someone here. Bendy, I love you, bro, but 1050 Ti not much faster than the 950. Oh, absolutely, it's faster than the 950.
1080 Ti, yeah. 1050?
1050 even still quite a bit faster, significantly faster. 1050 Ti is no slouch at all. It's actually one of my favorite Pascal cards. 1050 Ti is... You can play pretty much every single game at 1080p 60 with very, very few concessions. We're good luck doing that on a 950. 1060 is definitely kind of the sweet spot for 1080p ultra gaming. And even more so, I'd say the RX 580 with the 8 gig frame buffer. Not the 4 gig RX 580, but the 8 gig RX 580.
Did you want to skip this one and just go straight into questioning?
Yeah. Let's go straight to it. Because this one, it's like... I don't care. This one's hyperbole, hearsay. Intel may or may not be opening a GPU facility in Toronto, and the reason why that is or is not important is that's one of AMD's main graphics research centers. Yeah. So there may be a lot of poaching coming up here for graphic talent from AMD, which has kind of already starting with Raja. Yeah. So there were some jokes going around today. Let's get the band back together, but work for Team Blue with a lot more money now. Yeah. So that's that news story in a nutshell.
You can see the link for it. It'll be in the description.
Yep, exactly.
So check it out, but we're not going to really talk about that. We have seen a lot of chat going on today. If you do have questions or anything we talked about earlier, want to talk about beer, want to have something new, talk to us on the channel.
We've got 20 minutes. Let your questions fly.
Yeah, let's do it.
1066 gig will crush almost everything you want to play at 1080p. Absolutely, It will. So will the RX 580. Those are my two. If you're playing at 1080, which 85% of you are, according to Steam, are still on 1080p panels, 1060 or RX 580. You will not go wrong with either of those cards. So... And if you're going to get an RX 580, get the A gig, just a little bit of future proofing. Because as games get higher and higher textures, that's one thing that will get you maybe a year further in the future. Yeah. Yeah, and overclock 960 might beat a 1050 Ti, but it's going to be close, but overclock a 1050 Ti. A lot of people don't test with that. They test out of the box, and I know I certainly tested out of the box. I have a 1050 Ti that'll clock to almost 2200 megahertz.
And then how long do you think that 960 is going to last? Constantly overclocking it all the time.
It'll do okay.
Well, what setup do you have? Is it air cooled, water cooled?
It's going to be air cooled on a 960. Yeah. But 960 is a great card too. Don't get me wrong. But Pascal is a much more efficient architecture, and there really was a significant performance boost going from Kepler to Pascal. It was a lot bigger than people think it was.
Now let me ask you this, kind of what we were talking about before with AMD and Intel. Price point. Well, do you think the price point between the 960 and the 1050 Ti, how big of a difference, and does it make that big of a difference?
Technically speaking, you can get a 1050 for $120. That's the MSRP on a 1050. Okay. You can get a 1050 Ti for $160. Now, when the 1060 came out, or when the 960 came out, it was $150 and $200 for the 2 gig or the 4 gig model. If you got the 4 gig model and you got a decent overclocker, you're paying between $200 and $225 for that.
But that's brand new.
And that's brand new. I'm going brand new pricing here.
Well, you said used for the 1050.
No, brand new for the 1050. 1050 Ti retails for between $150 and $200.
Oh, okay. I thought you said used.
No, retail price is between $150 and $200 depending on your model. Okay. And all of those are 4 gig cards. Honestly, the 1050 Ti, I can't see it losing in almost any spec to the 960.
So there you go.
I don't have a 960 here to test with, but honestly, that might be an interesting one to explore, although it's probably been explored somewhere back in YouTube history from 2 years ago. What's better, a 960 or a 1050 Ti? And I gotta say, based on my experience with a 1050 Ti, 1050 Ti is the better architecture. It's the better card, it's the faster card, it's the way to go. Not that the 960 is a slouch. I think it's just fine, and yeah, you're probably within 5 or 10%, which 5 or 10% of the average person, you're not going to notice. Who cares if you're at 54 or 60 FPS or 75 versus 68 FPS?
Yeah.
That's not a huge difference. But what I'm saying is I think the 1050 Ti is going to be for that 5 to 10% faster. So don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I think they're great cards. Yeah, and got a 960 2 gig for 135 more than 2 years ago. Absolutely. But 2 years ago, when the 1050 Ti came out for 150, it was the better card. Used 1060 6 gig for $300. Good price? No, that's a terrible price for a new card. Brand new, they should be selling for about $249 or $259 is the MSRP for a 1066 gig.
Mr. Micah had a good, interesting question.
Mr. Micah.
Right there.
What motivates you to create content? What's caused you to continue to create content even when the first several videos probably didn't perform too hot, I assume? I have a unique situation. My very first video on this channel, which looking back,
it looks like crap.
I am so embarrassed by that video.
But I remember you being like, this looks fantastic. It came out so great.
For what I was doing, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was totally fine.
And at the time, was above my bar.
Right. Yeah, totally. So that one video got popular almost overnight. And not like went viral popular, but like all of a sudden got like 1,000 views in 3 days and got...
For a first video, that's amazing.
And got 10,000 views in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is easy. What the hell? And so my first video did very, very well. My second video did 10,000 views in a week. And that was a case review. And I went...
Why isn't everyone doing this?
Yeah. Am I just really good, or does everyone else just suck? I don't know what it is. And my third video did very well as well. And then my fourth video, which was your first video.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. That was Beer Fest.
Oh yeah, that was
my fourth video.
Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't a tech video.
That still has 500 views. So I did find very, very early success in my first couple of videos, and I've always had kind of a unique approach to the way I do videos, and a very professional approach to the way I do videos. Very thorough, very everyman approach, but giving information in a way that you guys can digest it. And I really hope that comes across. The amount of prep time that I actually do put into my videos is not insubstantial.
No.
The research that I do to make sure I understand the full history of what I'm talking about. When I go into things like SteamOS.
Yeah. I know, and even when he does do that, and after he's done the research, he still talks to like Steve, myself, and Rhett, and like, hey guys, what do you even think about this? Should I talk about this? Should I talk about that?
Right.
What do you guys think? And even sometimes on the Discord, like, hey...
Discord and in YouTube comments.
Yeah,
I actually troll the YouTube comments quite frequently.
So he actually listens to a lot of people. Yep. And what do they want to hear? What do they want to see?
Yep.
It's pretty cool. And then you do have some interesting videos. I think even like we've even talked on Discord. Hey Jeff, we want you to do a video like this, and it's been pretty successful. Or you just got randomly lucky with your Wish ones, but you're like, hey, this will be stupid, and no one's gonna watch this. This is gonna be a filler episode.
Yeah, I got so lucky with that Wish video,
and it ends up being your most popular one ever.
Yeah. Oh, it's responsible for 50% of the views on my channel.
Yeah.
But what motivates me to make content is I feel I can bring something different that's not in the YouTube tech tuber content creator space right now. I feel like I'm bringing a little bit of a different flavor to it. I've got craft beer. I am not marketing, and I mean no offense by this, to the Linus Tech Tips audience, which is the 10 to 14 year olds.
Yeah.
That is his audience. I think he makes great content. I think it's very informative most of the time. I think there's a certain amount of value that he puts into the entertainment value, where he might make a video that's only for entertainment value. And only because I can. Like, he'll go out and buy $30,000 in server hardware and then hold down the heat sinks because he didn't bother buying the right retention screws. Linus. And so there's a certain amount of entertainment that comes from his channel, but he's not necessarily the top level tech that I would trust as far as that level goes. I am trying to market myself to the people who have the money in the industry and market to their likes and their wants and their needs. And what better way to do that than to exclude the teenagers? And again, I mean, no offense, if you're a teenager and watch us, thank you, cool.
Yeah.
But my market is 25 to 40-year-olds.
Yeah. No, that really isn't the top tier. That's
right.
Mid-tier and up. It's really more mid-tier and up that I think that, again, this is just what my opinion is, but I think Jeff really hits very well is the mid-tier section is the people of what is the budget bill, or I have a little bit excessive cash. What can I do above just the main?
I've got $400. What should I upgrade?
Yeah, what should I upgrade? What should I do? Do I need new fans?
Right.
Do I need water cooling? If I do have water cooling, is this cheapest one the best, or do I need to spend that little extra money to get a little better water cooling to sustain my computer?
All right. So a lot of people think that I'm very, very well off because I bought myself a Threadripper and I've got all this hardware here. And a lot of my studio is self-funded. It really is. But I came from a place where... when I started the channel, I was running on a knockoff Xeon 12 core because I thought it was cool.
And that was one of your videos.
And that was that was the video that started it all. Yeah. Was hey, let's or that was a later video when I re-explored X99. But I come from a place of what's the best bang for the buck that I can get, and I'm very realistic when I come to hardware. And when I have an opinion about a 2080 Ti. That opinion's valid from the everyman, because if you're looking at spending $1,200, that's a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
That's my most expensive video card purchase ever was I bought dual 9800 GTX Plus cards, and they were $430 a piece. So I spent $860 on 2 graphics cards in 2007. And that was insane for me. And the only reason I did that is because I got a huge tax return and went, I'm going to dump all my money into a system. So I will always approach from, is it worth it from a financial standpoint, no matter what your financial standpoint is.
Yeah.
I try to approach every video that way. And when the price goes up, the level of scrutiny goes up.
Yeah, no, and Jeff even does that with even if he gets a sponsored content. He'll tell people, like, look, I'm going to give you an honest opinion.
I've had I have done no sponsored content. I want to make that clear. Yeah. There's a differentiation between sponsored content and review content.
He's done review, but that was my bad.
Right, exactly. I just wanted to make that clear.
My bad.
I have received products for free from companies for the purpose of review. And when I say for free, what they're expecting is a product review. Now, that product review takes me 20 hours. So if I get a $150 sound card or a $150 video card or a motherboard or a case or whatever, I'm losing money in this endeavor. I'm getting the case as compensation for doing the review, but let's be clear, I'm working for less than minimum wage when I'm doing this review.
Yeah, you're doing 20 hours plus.
I would rather go out and buy the case and do the review myself than have a company go, oh, we didn't like that you said this. I have told companies, number one, I will not take money to do a review. And I have stuck by those guns. And I've had companies offer me money.
He's actually turned it down.
I've turned companies down because they said, we want to pay you to do this review. I'm not taking your money.
He's talking about on Discord. Only $1 to join.
I talk about that on Discord because I've been asked on Discord, and I'm fully honest with that. But I've had companies come back and say, we didn't like what you said about our product. And I said, well, that's my honest opinion of your product. And you gave me the product to do a review on. So if you only wanted me to pump your product up, you came to the wrong person. Yeah. So my reviews will always have integrity. And again, the more expensive your product is, the more scrutiny I'm going to put you under. I've got a great example. And again, I know I'm going a long time on this question. I see JFZ found this channel thanks to the old Mac Pro video.
There's been a lot of love on the
cheap
comments.
Chinese hardware. Got the 52-year-old interested. The bourbon for cooling was pretty cool. And I found all you guys from different videos, and that's what's cool. Yeah. So I have 2 examples of $150 products that were taken 2 completely different ways. I did my Sound Blaster G6 review, the USB sound card, and I did the Pengo HDMI capture review. For a USB sound card, the G6, it's a phenomenal sound card. It really is. And for a headphone amplifier, it's probably the best one you can get for $150. But they're shooting for a budget market, and they're saying if you're going to improve one thing in your audio listening experience, buy the Sound Blaster G6. Not their words. I'm not trying to put words in their mouth. But they're it's a great sound card. I don't want to not stress that. It is a great sound card.
For $150.
Right. My opinion of it was, if you have $150 and you're starting out and you have a cheap set of $20 headphones, you're going to be better served by buying better headphones.
Yes.
If you already have better headphones, this is a fantastic product. And I wanted to make that very clear in the video. Yeah. And they didn't like that I said it can't turn a $20 set of headphones into a $150 set of headphones. And I said, I didn't say that you guys said that. That's my opinion on where you should spend your $150.
Yeah.
If you have $150 to spend on an audio solution, should you buy headphones or should you buy this product?
Headphones.
You should buy headphones. You're going to be better served by it.
Yeah.
If you already have the headphones and you're looking to expand that, let's say you have a $300 budget. That's a phenomenal value for a headphone amp.
I mean, yeah, really, yeah. It was a great. So, you have to pay attention though to what he's saying,
right?
And half the videos, he tries to spell it out very clearly, and he does a fantastic job of doing that. Sometimes it just might get lost in it. And that's it. But then there was the capture card.
There was the capture card. I reviewed a Pengo. They call it a 4K grabber capture card.
I remember this one too.
It's a USB capture card over USB 3. It captures HDMI. It has a full 4K 444 pass-through at 60 FPS. And they market it as like the go anywhere, do everything capture card. Now, again, it's $150, but for a capture card, it's relatively inexpensive. And so there were a couple things on it that I wasn't sure if it actually did 444 capture or if it was 422, because there were some confusing things with the YUI2 versus MPEG capture, which MPEG is typically compressed, but that's the only thing that 444 was available on, which if they're sending in uncompressed 444, why are they requiring MPEG? And if they're doing YUI2 at 422, that's the uncompressed signal. Why can I only get 422 color out of that? But for $150, I gave all that a pass because it's doing what the product promised at a price point that's lower than a lot of products in that range. It delivered 1080p 60 FPS lag-free with a 4K pass-through at almost all resolutions with zero configuration and zero driver installs. And so I went, it gets a 100% pass from me. I would recommend this product because at $150, it's one of the cheapest solutions that you can get that does 1080p 60 capture over USB with a lag-free HDMI output.
Well, yeah.
And so I was less critical on that because it's $150, but for an equivalent product, you're looking $300. Whereas the sound card, we're getting into some not impulse purchase level, but I need to think about where I need to purchase in the sound card level.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, really, you could go, for the headphone thing, you could go buy a cheap $50 to $99 pair of headphones and be like, wow, this is great. This is really helping my gaming or whatever you're doing, or music listening experience. It will do that. With a capture card, if you are doing something like, say, Twitch, and you're performing on possibly multiple, boxes or whatever.
Or on a shoestring budget, and you've got a laptop and an Xbox 360.
Exactly. You could do that, so you could invest a $500 investment system plus graphics card or capture card, and you could have a Twitch channel already. With a $50 headphone set with a mic, so that's where he gets it. And again, he approaches it very budgety and very everyday man. This was a big rant, but I thought it was a very good question to bring up.
Absolutely.
Or someone, I forgot the username, but he brought it was a great question, and I wanted to point it out to Jeff because I think it was a great question.
But anyway, the root of that question is, why do I enjoy creating the content? And that's why, is because I feel I am very honest. I'm very everyman. I think about every use case, and I've said this on the channel before. I believe if a product is being made, there's a use case for that product. Now, that video, only about 2,000 people watched. That was a Bluetooth sound card review, or Bluetooth speaker review, which, by the way, go watch my Bluetooth speaker review because it's some of the best jokes that I've ever written.
It was funny because, like, my brother Steve and I were brewing beer, and then he came by like, check out this speaker.
Legitimately the funniest video that I've written.
What I've stated is fact. Check this out. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, it is like that.
Yeah. Legitimately, the funniest video that I've written is that Bluetooth speaker review. But yeah, I try to approach things honestly, with integrity, with a use case in mind. And even if my use case isn't in mind, I try to put myself in the situation where maybe I'm looking at buying this product. Is it a good value? That's where my reviews come from. And sometimes if something's like just the best product to buy, like we talked about this on Discord today. Why am I not giving the iPhone a pass? It's the best smartphone that you can buy today. I'm not giving it a pass because they're believing their own bull and they're overcharging based on their market stature. Whereas if you're the red weapon camera at $50,000 for a body and you're looking $120,000 to get up and running, that is the best cinema camera you can buy today in that market space. So there's a difference.
Yeah, but that's the market space. Right. Market space is the key word.
Right. If you've inflated your market space from $800 to $1,400, I'm going to have a problem with you.
Yeah. If
you are the only person available for $120,000 and the next best solution is $300,000, I'm going to give you a pass at $120,000. So again, it's a sliding scale of, is it worth it no matter where you're at on that scale? So paid review channels are almost 100% of the channels on YouTube. I will never, ever, 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 ever do a paid review. I will do sponsored content, which is a little bit different. And
I will pay you to review a beer.
Right. Cool.
You just lied.
Well, you're paying me to drink.
Yes, but I need you to review it.
Okay. Money up front.
That's fine. Do I get to pick the beverage?
Not again.
Because I can pick something bad.
So I will never do a paid review. I will do sponsored content, which is different. Sponsored content is the manufacturer wants to highlight an aspect of a product, in which case I will be very, very forthcoming with what they want to highlight. X company reached out and said they wanted to show off the new feature of Y product. That is a sponsored content. I'm not going to go over any of the downsides or potential pitfalls. What I'm saying is this product does Y.
Well, Kindle Respite says he watches your channel, because him and I think the same. Not you, but me.
John and
him. Him and I.
You got the special connection?
We do. Yeah. Obviously, the you is obviously referred to me.
That's right.
Not you.
That's right.
But to me.
Obviously.
You know. Co-host number 2.
Mr. Micah, that was the guy.
Mr. Micah, yes. That was a great question.
Thank you so much for the love of this question. I'm painting my basement currently, so I haven't been too active in the chat.
Jeff, you're going to be painting something really soon.
I am.
That was actually another question. It was really far away, but they did ask, when is the new studio coming?
Wow. Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
So we will
Jeff
be live.
will be a very busy week.
Now, I did post in my video that went live this morning that this is possibly my last video in this office. That was a lie. I'm going to do one more video here. I'm doing, I think, a keyboard review tomorrow. So there will be one more video filmed within this office space. There might be a brief moving vlog, which feels a little weird because I'm literally moving there.
It's literally straight up above us.
It's literally straight up above me. The difference is my current office space is about 160 square feet, give or take, and it is very cramped, and there is zero storage. Like, I've got this shelf on the wall, and it is just full of junk.
And there's a fireplace. You can't see it, but there's a legitimate fireplace.
So I'm gonna give you guys a brief tour of my office, okay? So over here, we've got, obviously, the liquor cabinet right there. I've got the storage shelf, which is a bunch of graphics cards right there in the middle. I've got products just for, like, display on the top. I've got tools down here on this middle shelf right there. I've got hard drive and CPU storage kind of in the middle there, and then just some junk at the bottom. That is my QuakeCon mod that I still have not opened from QuakeCon because I've been so busy. That's a freaking wood stove in the middle of my office, okay? And if we go over here a little bit more to the right, this is my workbench, and that's the camera that I'm on. There's a window and a portable air conditioner, and just all the boxes and crap that I've received, and there's just no room to store any of it.
Yeah. And this is clean. This is
and by the way, over here is my kitchen. And my wife's going to hate me for showing this, but that's my like literally, here's my monitor, here's my kitchen. Okay? Yeah. So...
And this is the office clean. Steve and I and Rhett have all been here, and what you saw, there have been boxes piled above the window.
I have gotten questions before of how do you keep your office so clean, and my answer is creative camera angles. So, again, my office is about 160 square feet, and realistically, this is a den. This is a den that's just off of my kitchen that we just
dining room. I would say this, or no, that's the dining room.
The dining room's over that way. There's a proper like chandelier, ceiling fan kind of thing.
Yeah, this
is the den.
So
we are moving directly upstairs. Now, directly upstairs of me is 370 square feet of unutilized space.
Yeah, tripling the studio.
Right, nearly tripling. At least more than doubling. So, show us that mod. Oh, you'll be seeing that mod. Don't worry, that's one of the first things I'm unboxing when I get upstairs. Because that case is freaking gorgeous. Now, I have not opened this since it came back from Texas almost 2 weeks ago.
If you're on Discord, you would have seen pictures, so join for $1.
That's right. But there's going to be an article written on that coming up on Modders Inc. probably next Friday, because I do need to do a write-up, but there will be a video very shortly on the channel of that as well, of me doing the unboxing and setting up of that system. But anyway, we're moving directly upstairs of me. And upstairs is about 370 square feet of open space. Now, it's technically a fourth bedroom in the house. We've used it as kind of like a living room space. I had a projector and a couch up there. My wife used it as a sewing room.
You use it as a VR room?
I used it as a VR room for a short time. When we moved into the house, it was my office, and then quickly got converted over to a family room when we had kids. But it's been kind of like this influx space, and I have outgrown this den. I have no storage space left. I'm stepping over.
To you.
I have to step over my camera and like duck my head under this microphone stand that's right here. Like, here's my light and my microphone stand. I have to walk around that, and my head hits the back of the boom arm right there every time I walk through. It's just an absolute nightmare to work in this office. I finally convinced my wife, you can have my old desk downstairs. So she's going to take over this desk, and I'm going to build myself a brand new studio upstairs, and I own the entire room.
Actually, you have technically sneak previewed that room in a VR video.
Yes, my VR video, that is that room.
Yes.
There was a couch set up in there, and there was a small desk set up in there. You didn't see much of that room, but that's kind of a sneak preview of that room.
Yes.
Tomorrow, I am doing taping and painting of that room.
You know, some people, it'd be kind of cool is a quick lapsed video for Patreons.
Yes,
that would be a good video.
I'm going to do a moving vlog video, which will probably be posted sometime next week.
No, was that Patreons only?
That'll probably be just on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Because it's going to take all day Saturday to move everything up there.
Okay.
Saturday, I've got a little bit of a work crew coming over.
Like, you provide beer, I'll come over.
I'm doing beer and pizza on Saturday.
Oh, okay, I'll come over.
There you go.
What time?
We'll
talk later.
I'm working all day.
Oh, let's talk later.
All day.
I'll come by.
I'm starting at 8 in the morning, and I'm going till it's done.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'll have to wait till the kids asleep. But yeah, if you're still going, I'll text you in the afternoon. If you're still going, I'll swing by.
Yep. Digital Foundry literally uses a table and a white wall, and I totally would do that too. But my aim is, and this is no offense to any smaller YouTubers or people who are like webcam and shooting and doing product reviews. I've always aimed to be above my level as far as the video production and the video value goes. The production value.
Yes.
Even my original videos, I had B-roll shots that were interlaced in my talking heads.
You seem to really try to give the best bang for your buck that you had, and even push that limit to editing quality, content, how you even edit the video, and the rolling. You're like, this may not be the best camera, but this is what I have for the money, and I'm going to give you the best shots I can. And yes, there are YouTubers out there that they just might have a Logitech 1080, Ti or what is it? This
is my webcam. It's a C920.
Yeah, C920.
Yep.
A lot of, and they're successful by that.
I shot my FreeNAS tutorials on that camera.
So it does work, but Jeff was like, I can do better.
Right.
And he kept pushing the channel, and because of that, that's, I believe, a good content of why it grew, too.
Yeah.
There is quality in the video. Now, if you go look back, you do see an increase in quality. And you even did a quick segment of, hey, this is my camera lens here. And here, there. I don't remember what video that was.
No, I never posted that.
Oh, that's right.
It was
a bad video.
Go watch my Q&A Patreon video from about a month ago. I did a Q&A, and that was a question that came up: is what cameras do you use, or what video have you ever shot a video beginning to end that you won't post? And the answer is yes, I have. And that video will never see the light of day.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, it was bad.
It wasn't.
It was bad.
I posted worse.
I came across as a pompous ass. I really did.
Yeah, you kind of did.
I really did.
I'm the best. You need this lens to do this.
You guys bought me all this equipment. And
yeah.
Keep watching and subscribe and give me money.
Well, I mean, it really didn't come off that way because they didn't really pay for it, but yeah.
Yep.
It did kind of.
Beer and pizza sold. Sign me up.
Right, you'd be surprised. I mean, that's how I get half the people to do something like, hey, you want beer and pizza? That's how I get people to come over to my house and have poker.
That's
hey,
right.
I got free beer and pizza. Come over and give me your money.
That's right.
I end up losing anyways, but whatever.
Right. But on Saturday, so I'm painting tomorrow and Friday. I'm getting the room painted. On Saturday, I'm building my desk. I'm finishing the electrical and lighting work in the room. There's one single round LED light in the center of the room, and again, it's 370 square feet, so it doesn't light up really any of it. So I'm doing 2 sets of track lighting on the ceiling and another set of track lighting on the wall. We're getting some sound treatment installed. We're getting the desk built. And we're getting all of the things that are down here moved upstairs so I can film again like Saturday night.
Are we going to do a holodeck?
We can do a holodeck.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Well, hey. it's a VR space too, so I can I can blur you out.
So, I do have a bit of Trek talk. Yeah. I want to get into.
We got a couple minutes.
A couple minutes. I want to get into Trek talk. I know we've had questions, but we do talk.
You didn't even prep me for Trek talk.
We do talk Trek. Not tech, but we do talk tech, but Trek. Recently, I've been rewatching some TNG. Now, I have noticed that in the holodeck, I have a question. I haven't seen this stated ever. In dramatic scenes in the holodeck, when they're playing a lot of murder mysteries or anything, there's background music. Is that music being played for them?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or is it just for us? Now, that would enhance their experience. Now, I was curious about that because I watched a video. It was the one where the recent one was called Clues. It was where they go and they go through this temporary wormhole where everyone gets amnesia except Data.
Oh, right.
Data has to pretend. But the very first scene was Picard with Whoopi Goldberg's character, Guinan. But there's background
Shame
music.
on you.
But I know. It's 10.5%. But they react to the music, and that's what got me thinking. So they reacted to the music playing that I heard. So does the holodeck play dramatic music? Because there's a lot of times it does.
I think it depends on the program. Now, I recently rewatched an episode where Julian Bashir was in the holodeck playing a James Bond-like character.
Yeah, okay.
And he takes a guy out with a champagne bottle cork.
Yeah.
And then he gets the girl, and they're making out on the holodeck or the holosuite above
I was gonna say it's not a holodeck, it's a holosuite.
It's a holosuite. And Garrick walks in and starts clapping in a full tux, and Bashir's like, "Get the fuck out of my holosuite!" Yeah. And he's like, no, doctor. I feel like this could expose a personal inner truth about you and whatnot. Fine, you can say it. And the girl he's making out with walks off. So I recently rewatched that, and there's probably some music playing in there.
Yeah.
The old Bond.
Yeah. There's that dramatic music. So is that music heard by the characters or
I believe if it's a well-written holosuite program, then absolutely it is.
Interesting.
I believe it would be. I mean, here we are coming out with machine learning cards in the near future that are going to be available for consumers, and apparently the new iPhone and the A12 processor has machine learning capabilities built in with their tensor networks. why wouldn't there be dynamic music inside of a holosuite?
Well, I would think that would be distracting to real life situations because the whole idea of a holodeck.
I don't think so.
Are you saying you're going to walk around? I personally would love this, but you're saying modern day people are going to walk around with, "Hey Jeff," and I tell a joke, and then there's some funny music. Yeah, some funny music. Dun dun. You know, that's going to play that. The both of us will hear. And you're saying that won't distract you?
Do you remember the Family Guy New Year's special where there was Armageddon and Randy Newman is playing theme music for Lois?
No.
Red-headed woman, go to eat
Oh no, but I remember the Family Guy.
Gonna take a bite.
Oh yeah. No, but I was thinking the Family Guy were like
about it first. Wipe it on her blouse.
Yeah, that was funny. I was thinking
she takes a bite.
Stewie was playing like the trumpet for a fat person.
3 times.
And yeah. So, but I'm saying is music for that sense would distract a modern person.
JFZ, is it just you? I haven't had any buffering here for more than 2 hours. If you jinx me, you son of a bitch, I will come to your house and so help you, I will cut you.
This is the first time in a long time Jeff has not
I am 3 weeks straight broadcasting at my full resolution to both platforms. So if it is down next week, I will cut you.
With his bat lift.
That's right. Don't think I don't have the knives here. I have the knives here. Hashtag holodeck talk.
I thought it was interesting. Yeah. I never thought of that before.
They're saying getting a lot of buffering all of a sudden.
It's not. Oh, actually, there's a bit of a.
All of a sudden, lag. YouTube's a little bit blurry.
Bit of a lag and blurry. Yeah.
Interesting.
We haven't been paying attention.
Technically, I have a 30 meg upload.
Wow, there's about a 15-second delay.
The delay doesn't concern me. It's the smoothness that concerns me.
Twitch looks way better than YouTube.
Twitch always does on the live streams. YouTube's compression is not that great for live. So running a live speed test just for the heck of it.
For the heck of it. For the commenters.
Yep. And then I think we'll...
oh, you're good. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
That's up.
Yeah,
or that's down.
That's
right.
down.
Which is still lower than I should be getting.
Should be getting 7 to 8.
It should be getting 830. Getting 688.
Yeah.
Up. Oh yeah, up is fine.
Up is fine. You're getting the high 20s.
Yeah. So technically we're good.
So
YouTube's looking 100% good here. No buffering here. Yeah, I think it's just one person.
So. It might be just your provider.
Calm down, Jeff. That was the surveyor. You jinx me.
Oh, it was interesting. Interesting Trek theory. I thought. Yeah. I've never thought about that.
Quite honestly, music always adds to the emotional suspense or enjoyment of an atmosphere. That's why they do music inside of movies. It helps your emotional presence.
Yes, in movies. But okay, the whole idea of the holodeck is you're supposed to immerse yourself in real world events or mysteries or whatever.
But is music an emotional liaison for you?
So to me, then that would take away. That would be more like I'm in a play, not a real world situation.
Well, holosuites are supposed to be either fictional novels or real world reenactments. But again,
but then that takes your mind away from this isn't real.
You as the musician. Take the musician out of you.
Okay. You
can be emotionally led by music.
I can be emotionally led by music, but
if you're immersing yourself in this fantasy environment, why not further your emotional state by being led by that musical score?
Okay, so if let's say I'm playing a video game.
Okay.
Let's say I'm playing a video game and I have a 7.1 surround sound with a cool graphics card or audio.
And it's even ray traced.
Right. And so there we go. Even better. So the shadows will really enhance everything and the water will look basically the same. But
you watched our video last week.
Yeah. I didn't. Rhett took my seat. You're welcome, Rhett. So if there was... let's say I'm playing Battlefield something we either won or, an old war.
Tell you what, 1942.
1942. Battlefield 1942. There's no music in the background when I'm playing it. It's just people yelling, machine guns going around. That's more immersive than if I sat there. Now, when I do play music in the background very softly because it gets my adrenaline going, but it takes me out of the game of I'm no longer in this reality.
Right. So, I will say there's no music in the background of like 1942. That's gunshots and screams and planes.
Now that brings you into the immersive realm of that.
Put yourself into any number of Star Wars games over the years.
Yes, but
where the music is reactive to the situation, regardless of that situation.
Now that brings emotion, but it doesn't.
Even the worst Star Wars games have had the best musical scores in those games.
Star Wars in general has a great musical score.
Right, but let's say.
But it doesn't immerse me in the universe to make me think it makes me think I'm playing a Star Wars movie.
Let's take the 1997 release of The Phantom Menace.
Okay, great. There's only really 2 good songs in that.
Right. I'm talking about the video game The Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So do you remember that video game?
I only played Pod Racer.
Pod Racer is great. But Pod Racer even has a musical score behind it. That's fantastic. But again, that the entire musical score is it's the fast.
That's a great.
The musical score in the original Phantom Menace video game, which was the licensed video game title for the Phantom Menace, the game was shite by even those standards. The camera was terrible. The gameplay was lackluster at best. The graphics were horrible. It was just the puzzles were weird. The musical score inside of there gave you a sense that you were walking through the movie.
That's it, though. You're walking through the movie. You're not walking through reality.
But you're being emotionally led by the score in there, and so you're being told by the music how to feel.
Yes.
And if you're trying to immerse yourself into a reality, what better way to lead you into that emotional state than music?
But that's the thing. You just said You said reality, and you're immersed into a movie. Those are contradicting statements.
Yes and no. You're trying to live the movie.
That's still a contradiction. You said the word reality.
I disagree.
That's a reality. So okay, and again, that's a game. That is a game.
I love this hypothetical philosophical discussion we're having right now.
This is a holodeck, and a holodeck is an escape.
Is the podcast still going? Yeah, the podcast
is still going.
We're ignoring you guys. This is just me and John right now.
This is tech. This is a holodeck. Now, a holodeck for a starship station is meant to be a vacation, an escape from reality.
Okay, so I'm going to take it one of 2 ways with you. Okay, so follow me on both of these. Okay. So I have a holosuite program that is
holosuite or holodeck.
Theoretically, they're the same thing. One of them is Quark charges me latinum to go up and have sex with strange women. The other one is holodeck, where I write my own programs. But they're technically the same thing. Now, holosuite, Quark has a subset of programs that he sells patrons to go up and experience.
Yes.
That's the only difference.
Okay.
What's the difference between that and them going to Ryza on Holodeck 3? There's no difference. I'm going to argue that with you. The Holodeck and the holosuite are just called 2 different things. They're essentially the same thing.
Okay.
So are we on the same page?
Okay. I prefer holodeck over holosuite, but okay.
Okay. So, well, again, I think DS9 is the superior platform.
That's not. Okay.
So, let's say I have 2 programs that I like to run. I have a vacation on Ryza, where I have my virtual girlfriend and I have Sim Life that I play. So I play Second Life on Ryza on holosuite 2. Okay? There's no musical score there, besides the mom should go wow wow that plays during certain scenes.
You're gonna do that? Why would you do that?
No. Just follow me here. Okay. So if I'm on the beach with an umbrella in my drink, and I'm relaxing there, there's no musical score. I don't want to hear anything but the wind and the waves and the little chatter of the birds in the background. Mm-hmm. Okay? That is my emotional state that I want to be in, drinking my non-Corona beverage.
Yeah.
Okay?
Your synthale.
Okay. If I'm Julian Bashir and I'm putting myself into a 007 scenario, and and I knock this guy through a pane of glass and whatnot, and I go over and I get the girl, and I've got her in one arm, and she goes, champagne, and I pick up the champagne, and I go, oh, 42, excellent year. And then the guy stands up. There's nothing I want more than to hear, ba-da, and me to turn, and I see him, and I lock eyes across the holosuite.
No, I don't.
And I go,
no,
and it hits him, and he goes, ba-da.
No, that doesn't work for me. No, that doesn't work.
No, just follow me.
Okay.
Because what that is doing is that is putting me into the character of that movie.
No.
It is making me believe I am that character. It is setting my emotional state up for that theme.
No, it doesn't. To me, that is giving you cues of how you have to react.
Right.
Now, that is not your interpretation of the character. That is the program's interpretation of the character, of how you have to react, and you have to turn at this time.
Computer music off. That's your solution.
That is my solution.
Okay. My solution is, I want to live it.
Okay, and you're using DS9 Julian Bashir. I'm going to use Picard. He had a detective program that he used at least 3 times.
I'm going to use Worf Merry Men on you if you're going to go there.
That was a horrible. That was more of a Q program. That Worf.
How about Moriarty coming to life?
Even what music was in that? And what music was in Worf's training programs? To where that's intense, and you would think a training program would have intense.
If it's a training program, there should be no music.
Why doesn't music?
Training program. I'm not leaning towards an emotional state.
But Worf always talked about music being emotional and bringing up the blood boiling in my veins, and I want to. So why wouldn't he have a Klingon opera playing in the background while he's battling some Romulans or skull-faced people that he constantly always? We've never seen them outside.
Is he playing Connery or Craig Bond? It matters.
It's Connery. That's Connery. No,
that was Connery. It was Connery. Because Craig wasn't a thing yet.
Craig wasn't. Yeah.
That was 2006.
Yeah, it's Connery.
Yep.
That's where I think if you're going for something, I'm playing.
Okay, I came in at a very weird moment.
Yeah, you did. If you're playing the scenes and you're playing, anyone can come in and there's a cue. That's when the music hits. If you're playing, I want to, because so this particular episode, Picard talked about. There are clues I have to follow, and there's a mystery to be solved. Uh-huh. Music kind of points you in the direction you need to go. And so then you're not...
I guess it depends on the story. I guess it depends on the point of the program.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in a fictional reality where it's been pre-established, I've watched the holotapes of James Bond and his heroic tales.
If you wanted to
relive... And I want to relive the character of James Bond... I want that dramatic orchestral theme behind me.
But that still comes back to, I want to say, Worf would, even DS9, would replay battles, even with what his wife, they replayed the battle where, the Klingon, conquered the whole Klingon Empire, him and his wife. There was no music in that.
Yeah.
But they were recreating things. Mm-hmm. Again, no music. Do they hear the music, or is the music for the audience?
But here's the thing. Some of the best moments in Star Wars, which has...
Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars.
Star Wars. Some of the best moments in Star Wars have no sound behind them.
It's because there's no sound in space.
Well, think of... I'm going to bring up a controversial subject here. Think of The Last Jedi.
I like The Last Jedi.
And so did I. The scene in The Last Jedi that leaves the imprint in your brain is the scene in which you hear absolutely nothing.
I don't remember that scene.
where the ship goes to light speed and cuts through the Star Destroyer.
Oh, okay.
Where they have been playing this really intense driving. And it's been driving for 20 minutes because there's the battle on the Star Destroyer going on. There's Rey and there's Kylo facing off, and then joining forces and then facing off again. And there's the rebels who are on their last gas in their escape pods going out. And then there's this chick who turns the ship around and flies through light speed through the Star Destroyer. And all of a sudden there's nothing. And that is one of the most intense cinematic things I've ever seen.
So if you were to replay that in a holodeck, would you have music behind you?
No, I would not in that instance. But leading my emotional state leading up to that point?
If you were the captain that turned that ship around, and that's the character you were playing in the holodeck, would you have music playing?
Well, if I'm the captain, I'm going to die, so I'm not going to hear the silence anyway.
You know what I meant.
So,
would you have that background music of, I need to have that heroic look of me turning around and ordering light speed.
If I'm playing Poe Dameron, the heroic rebel pilot who saves the rebellion, and I'm playing that character and I want to get into the mood and the role of that character, I would like some emotional guidance on that role.
No, I don't think that's emotional guidance. I think that's a personal quality that you're asking for yourself. I think it's more of, this is my interpretation of the character and the music I want to portray, and the how I want the character to portray. So let's take stupid, crappy new J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and I'm gonna play Beastie Boys. You could play Beastie Boys during that scene to get yourself like, I'm in the right mood now.
Yep.
So this was a very long, stupid conversation.
I don't know how because we wound through like four different realities.
I honestly didn't think it would have been this in-depth of a subject. I was like, oh, there's a little Star Trek talk. And we usually talk tech.
Just right at the very end. You should know better, John.
I'm way bad. I'm sorry. We have a clock. It's like, we're 45 minutes past. I was like, oh, this should have been a 5-minute conversation.
It should have been. But you started it at 10 after.
I did. My bad. I'm sorry.
That was your bad.
I'm going to have to apologize to my wife.
Thank you so much for joining us on episode 49. We have something very, very special in store for episode 50. I have done all 40...
Oh, fuck you, Rhett. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, Mom.
There's some hostility coming in here.
Push-up challenge, Rhett?
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, I have done 47 of the 49 episodes from this space. We did episode 1 from your tap house up above with Rhett in episode 1. Episode 2 was held here with you. Episode, I believe it was 10, maybe even 8, was held from a bar downtown Salem, Barrel and Keg, with you. Every other episode has been filmed here. Yep. Episode 50 will be upstairs in my new office, again with Rhett. Rhett gets all the new toys. He gets the new... He gets the first podcast. He gets the new digs. He gets the new camera, and he's going to get the new digs again.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Star Trek. Star Trek 1 sucked. And Wrath of Khan was fantastic. And I'm going to get the Wrath of Khan upstairs. And that's how it's going to be.
That's right.
So, suck it, Rhett.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure you're not watching right now anyways. And any kids that are watching right now, go to bed.
Well, he's going to get 2009 Star Trek, and you're going to be In the Darkness.
Oh. Don't do that.
Thank you for watching episode 49, everyone. And see you next week.
That's a great ending.